electric race boat series, and this year is bigger than ever. 10 teams going head-to-head over 8 rounds on 4 continents, featuring some of the biggest names in global sports and entertainment. Over the next 10 months, the striking racebird fleet, guided by male and female pilots, will grace the world's waterways as they look to dethrone double world champions Team Brady. It's qualifying day here in Jeddah. Right now, here's Sanders Carmichael Brown with a preview of the course map here in Jeddah.
Thanks, Todd. Great to be back. Yes, so here's what we're looking at for today. Set against the Jeddah Corniche. It's a lap that's very much defined by 2 halves. You have the inshore, start-finish straight along the seawall. That's the fastest, most protected part of the course. Massively contrasted with the more open offshore technical sections, which pilots are then exposed to the open Red Sea chop, which is where things get very interesting. Spray, catching of foils, speed and time loss, and if it's not executed right, it can be an absolute time killer in qualifying. The water here as well, it's dense and it's salty, which is good for getting up on the foils, but it means that the challenge is with that chop. So it's all about smooth hands on the throttle and the trim, and maybe that could be worth more than all and out speed today.
And there is the course here in Jeddah as we are just moments away from getting qualifying time trials underway. So today, it is all about speed, all about being able to put down the fastest time between you and your fellow driver. As the pilots try to put down the quickest times, of course, we have opportunities for them to get things done here with teams ranked 1 to 10, and that's the average of pilot A and B. So it's the best lineup possible. And Saunders really is a great format to get a good gauge on how everyone's faring on this course.
It is, because this is a very exciting change. I think what E1 have done here is perfect for creating more jeopardy, more action, more drama from the off. Today, with all of the time trials and Q1 and Q2, this being very different now, the idea that we're losing pilots now in each kind of time on the water through each session, two each, which then means you're fighting for survival as well as your time.
Win and move on in the knockout format of qualifying time trials, which is very interesting. Remember, each pilot does at least 1 and up to 3 timed laps. Best single lap times recorded for each laps do not need to be continuous, and the teams are ranked 1 through 10 by average of pilots A and pilot B's. So the teams are getting themselves ready, and we have the opportunity now to go waterside as we check in with a third member of our broadcast team. Here's Taylor Snyder.
Down here on the launch zone, it's going to be a beautiful weekend here in Jeddah, but I found Sarah right away. Sarah, it's a new season. You're running some new colors. How has it been so far with Aoki getting to know the team?
It's been amazing. They've been so welcoming. The dynamic, I feel right at home already. It didn't take long to get comfortable. Danny's been great. It's been a little hectic, new team, new dynamic, new strategies. So I've been adapting as quick as I can. I still have some learning to do in how they develop through a race weekend, but I've been having so much fun. And even everyone on the paddock says I look so happy and giddy all the time. So I'm happy.
I could definitely see the smiles. However, the Aoki's slogan is the dragon. So tell me, do you feel that vibe coming out?
Absolutely. Beware the dragon is through and through, because as you can see, we came out with a new livery. The chrome on the blue, it looks absolutely spectacular on the water. And I have to tell you, when I'm looking out and piloting the boat and I'm looking at in the bow is pink and blue, it just puts a smile on my face. So I'm just happy to be here and ready to get started and put my head down and work.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Taylor, and good luck to Sarah Masira. Great team to have out there. She is part of Aoki Racing with Danny Close from Spain. So we take a look at the teams. You see the lineups in there, and tell you what, Saunders, a lot of talent as we are set to go. The teams are absolutely loaded this year, and you've got to favor the experience of Brady as the 2-time champions.
Yeah, but you have to remember, this time last season, Jeddah was not the weekend for them at all. So they've got a lot of learnings to take from that weekend and do what other teams, looking in particularly at, who was it back then? You had Aoki do really well. There was basically everybody, mostly, in the grid were doing better than Brady. But that's not how the season ended, because they were phenomenal where it counted the last few courses and ultimately got the championship for the second time.
So qualifying time trial group 1A is underway. Team Brady's got Emma out there. Aoki's got some problems going sideways on our graphic. We'll get that sorted out momentarily. Team Westbrook has Sarah Timmy for Team Miami, and Sierra has Eric going right now.
So let's just go over this format change, because it's going to be interesting from the off. Right now we're in this time trial, and as you said, Todd, we've got the average of each team's
Right.
pilots. The fastest lap ranks them from 1st to 10th, with the slowest 2 teams eliminated from qualifying in this first kind of session of the day.
So you can't win the event on day number 1, but you can certainly dig yourself a hole. And right now it's Emma Kimalainen trying to do the best job for the 2-time defending champions. Team Brady looking very good with that snazzy new paint job, and she's doing a nice job of flying clean. Look at that, up on the foils. Oh, that's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, it does look just amazing when you can see them getting on the foil, nice and balanced on this really quite long start-finish straight. But it is really what they do going into the turn, because if they can keep balance and not dip too much, or not get up on the, or lose the foil balance, it just completely throws the race bird off balance completely. And because of this water being so, the salinity being so high, it's really good for getting on the foil. You've got that extra buoyancy, but then when you come off the foil, it's denser, it's thicker, it's harder to get the acceleration back.
Now you see Timmy Hansen right now trying to get a good time laid down. Remember, we'll see both pilots having the opportunity to put down the fastest time, and then you want to be in that top 8. You do not want to be in the bottom 2, as Saunders just pointed out. Good Kerner there coming through. You see a little bit of chop, sea steak on the course, but keeping it smooth, flying it tight.
We mentioned it a little bit in the course map, you know, where the balance lies between all-out speed and you know, to use the word again, balance. And I think that comes down with the prop choice. Now, one of the kind of key things in E1 is that prop choice decision. They only get to do it twice over the course of the weekend. They've already done it for all of today. So whatever decision they made with prop choice, they've got to stick with it. And that ultimately means a decision of 2 factors. Do you go for acceleration, or do you go for top speed? If you go for acceleration, that means, yeah, you're not going to have the top speed, but you're quick back on the foil if you come off it and you mess up a turn. If you go for the opposite, then maybe you lose the opportunity of bouncing back when things go wrong, because you haven't got that torque to get you back up on the foils quickly.
So we see the teams out there virtually competing as Sierra, one of the new teams coming in, and trying to get Eric into a good position, the Swedish driver. But it is Brady right now. Team Brady with Emma Kimalainen putting down the fastest time of 105.10. There you see the rest of the teams off the pace by about 2, 3, and up to 5 seconds for Westbrook Racing, as Sarah Price tries to bring it in and get some top end, put themselves in a top position. Look at that. That is a perfectly
That's beautiful. That's the thing about art, isn't it? That's great to see, and getting this in early and feeling comfortable in the race bird, being comfortable with your trim, just how you're positioning the race bird out of the water. One thing we learned interestingly from racing here last season was actually where it didn't benefit to be completely parallel to the water going into the turns. Obviously on the start-finish straights it means everything, but in the turn there was actually, I think it was Danny Close and Timo Aoki did it the best, is they were just dipping the nose a little bit into the corner to avoid that cross chop, pushing the foil out of the way and destabilizing the race bird.
So Sierra right now trying to put down the fastest time, currently 3.8 seconds off the pace put up by Team Brady.
There's Casey Munnings here, who is racing this season, but crucially not this weekend. She's got a bit of an injury that she's recovering from. You can see the brace there on her knee, which is where the injury is. Hopefully not too long before she's back in the race bird, because yeah, she has some good performances the last few seasons. And that was the person standing in for her, Rihanna on the right, to her in that previous shot.
Race control, taking in all the data, trying to find the best lines and the best ways to fly the all-electric race birds here in Jeddah. So much technology, so much data has gone into this, and it all comes down to this opportunity in your qualifying time trials, putting yourself in a great position for the remainder of the weekend. Continues to be Team Brady with a time of 105.10, fastest time we've seen so far. Team Aoki just 2.5 seconds off the pace. Emma Kimalainen doing a great job, just being smooth, consistent, not making any sudden moves as she flies on the backside of the course. And even faster this time as we take you on board. And this gives you a great perspective, Saunders, of what the pilots are dealing with.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's see how Team Brady deal with coming into these turns. Here's the nose looking, dips down a little bit in. It's quite smooth, looking very smooth now.
So it goes even faster with a 104.96. Team Brady still with the mark to beat, and she will stay out there. Remember, this is qualifying. Each pilot does at least 1 and up to 3 time laps, and it's the best single lap time recorded for each. So laps do not need to be continuous, but the teams will be ranked 1 through 10 off the average of pilot A and B as we go on board Team Aoki now.
You can see there.
Close.
You can see there on the graphic on the right, the boost, that's the button on the wheel they can use to get a little bit of extra power. Kind of quite crucial when you use that when it comes to the racing. You use it to hold position, use to make position. Here it's all about maximizing the fastest bit of the course, that being the bit alongside the seawall and the Corniche.
And Saunders, explain this to me, because this is the thing that was most intriguing to me, is the red flag comes out, so all racing comes to a stop, and we'll figure out what exactly has happened out on the course. But in regards to the boost, it does take time to regenerate, so you cannot hold the boost down for your entire lap.
I'm wondering if this is a problem with Brady, because just looking at where they are, they've gone a little bit adrift of the course. Now, is that because there's an issue, or because, I don't know, we have to find out there. But definitely some slow running from everybody on course.
Okay. So we're being told that the smart marks, those red buoys out there that differentiate the course and the turns, they are moving. Now, what's great about E1 is they are not having any carbon footprint because they are GPS controlled, and so if they do lose a signal, they can go out of place, and that's what's dealing with right now. So the good news is no one's hurt, no one's machine is having any kind of technological problems, but Mission Control has alerted that racing will come to an end with a red flag, and they will reposition that smart mark. As we get a look at the folks handling the data right now, there is Team Brady. They are crunching the numbers, and right now, wow, they have 2.65 over the fastest over Aoki in second, Miami third, Sierra Racing in fourth, and Westbrook in fifth. You're looking at the reigning champions right now, and talking about speed. Emma Kilalainen from Finland.
Faster, it might not be, kind of, so just wanted to make sure.
Calm, cool, and collected is what you'd expect for the two-time champs.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of a key characteristic for their success, I think.
How do you like the new Team Brady paint job?
I mean, they've kept it true to kind of the color palette.
Yep.
But maybe with a few little extra patterns on there. But it's nice to spice things up, isn't it, a little bit?
Absolutely. So the red flag and the course marshals will go out and address the situation, but that will bring racing to a stop here at round 1 of 8 at the UIM E1 World Championships. These are the E1 Jeddah GP event for 2026 as we kick things off. I want to remind you, coming up next, it'll be event number 2, and that'll be in Lake Como of the GP 2026. That'll be in Italy, not until April 24th and 25th. So we're back to racing as the red flag has been cleared and the smart buoys are back in position.
Now, this is a bit of an indication of what we might see tomorrow, but what is actually going to impact Sarah Price right now is they're sort of dealing with the wash of Timmy Hansen ahead. So now this is impacting the ability to have the clean water to keep on the floor smoothly, and that's where your timing comes from.
So the disturbed water right now is Westbrook Racing owner Will Smith, Sarah Price out of the USA, dealing with it nicely, looking very smooth. Keep an eye on her head as she's not bouncing around too much and working those foils.
You can see here on the graphics some really interesting data to bear in mind. Things like the trim, that being effectively the height of the prop in the water, which is really crucial. And there's different ways that teams can set that up. It might be that one touch of the button moves it by 0.5 or 0.1, and that is different from team to team. Some like little tiny micro adjustments, some like slightly bigger ones. And I think that's ultimately where you see teams like Brady understand that. And that's where, you know, by having more experience together, more experience with the team over success, over multiple seasons, and not moving pilots around, you build that confidence, you build that setup, and you know what you like.
Well, it's got to be no surprise to many who follow E1 that Team Brady is leading right now as we are underway with qualifying time trials on day number 1 here from Jeddah. They put up the fastest qualifying time, 104.96, with female driver Emma Kilalainen. Aoki currently sitting with the second fastest time, Miami third, Sierra at fourth, and Westbrook in fifth. So half the fleet out on the water. You see the data coming in for Eric Stark and Danny Close on Aoki.
The first time on the water, of course, well, competitively for the Sierra Racing teams, a new addition in terms of team name to the championship. It's always good to see.
And we'll see plenty of Rihanna O'Mara Hunt, the Kiwi driver. She's filling in for Katie Munnings, who you mentioned injured this round. and Eric Stark out of Sweden with their principals Lee Sampson and Ahmad Al-Shmaidi. So comms continually going on between race control and the pilots out on the water. So we focus in on Danny Close now. Spaniard looking good, making that turn to the left, keeping that boat riding high.
For those new to E1, it's always good to mention that these pilots have very, very mixed disciplines. They're not all used to water racing. They're not all powerboat racers. They're not all jet ski. There's actually very little experience on foils, which makes it so exciting. You get people from the world of rally, people from the world from Formula One, people from the world of other, powerboat racing. But interestingly, you would think the pilots of all the powerboat racing experience have the edge, but it's not true because they actually have to work in opposite. All the things they're used to in powerboat racing in terms of slowing down the race bird, cornering, is the complete opposite with E1 on foils. So they're having to relearn.
That being said, which discipline do you think translates best to E1 as we get a look like Sarah Price?
Well, we've got something really interesting this season. It's not out on the water right now, but we have Max Macher with the Team Monaco, and he has exceptional experience and credentials when it comes to foil racing specifically.
And look at this. Good time to feature Sarah Price. Yeah, that'll put a smile on your face as she puts down the fastest time so far, a 104.15.
It's a good week for Sarah Price. She's doing some great work with the Defender team in Dakar as well. They've had some great success first time out for them in rally, and now she's converted that to a good time on the water.
So happy to bring that to you. She looks very good. Team Brady will have to answer back as they now sit P2 on the qualifying time trials here. This is the first session. We've got another group ready to go out. These are 20-minute sessions. So gives you an opportunity to kind of shake out the bugs and get the bugaboos all worked out on board your all-electric race bird. And right now, Westbrook, a team that really didn't find their footing last year until late in the season. But they started off with a 4th last year in Jeddah and now looking to bounce back on day number 1 with a strong performance in qualifying.
Now, Timmy Hansen, of course, moving teams in the off-season as well. Very accomplished driver, both on the water and when it comes to World Rallycross. 2019 World Rallycross champion, racing all different disciplines, and experience in E1 now across all of the seasons. But what does it mean when you move team? Do you lose your comfort blanket? Do you lose your setup? Do you have to learn a new system? Is there a priority with your trim setup being now priority over your teammates? Or there's a lot of new things to learn when you move teams. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what he can do this weekend.
Currently, they're off the pace just a little bit, 3.83 seconds back of the leader, Westbrook Racing. This is Team Miami, powered by Magnus. Their owner, Mark Anthony, as you were looking at Timmy Hansen from Sweden. His partner, Patricia Pita, out of Uruguay, will take on the second session. We'll see how they do, but man, they are looking for some fast times. And speaking of fast times, it is Westbrook Racing and Will Smith's squad with Sarah Price laying down a 104.15. Good conditions, though, for racing, Saunders. Would you agree? I mean, it doesn't seem like the wind is too much. And talking with our Taylor Snyder on site, he said it's very warm, very humid, but not a lot of wind. So the sea stake, not a lot of swell, looking very good. Yeah, certainly in comparison to last season where there was a real, horrible chop that just caused so much friction and off counterbalance, both in qualifying and the race sessions. But yeah, it seems to be pretty polite, let's say, polite chop today. But it can quickly change, as we know, when it comes to wind and water. This is Sierra Racing with Eric Stark out of Sweden on board, trying to get a fast lap. To do so, he needs better than a 104.15 here in qualifying time trials. This in Group A. Remember, we're 20 minutes in. We're coming up on 6:45 to go, so 6:45 remaining. And Saunders, I imagine there's a lot of strategy for the teams from Mission Control saying, let's wait maybe until some people come in, not as much traffic out on the course, we can get some smoother water. Yeah, it means everything. That smooth water is absolutely essential for anything, both in qualifying and even more so when it comes to actually racing, because you don't want to be losing time or losing position by caught in the wake or the chop or the wash of the race bird in front. So yeah, it really is crucial to pick well. Sierra Racing out there right now with Eric Stark trying to put in a fast time. Remember, it's 104.15, the mark to beat here in this first group. As we mentioned, Sierra Racing Club, a new team here. Eric Stark, anything but new when it comes to experience on the water. 23 years of experience driving boats.
I think he started when he was about 12 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in terms of adapting to a new team, he's got lots of experience of working with different outfits.
So what you're saying, if it has a wheel, Eric Stark can drive it?
If it's on water, yeah.
Well, a beautiful day in Jeddah for qualifying on day number 1 at the UIM E1 World Championships, powered by PIF. And we're coming up on the final 5 minutes.
Being treated to a bit of local music.
Yeah,
in
how
the
about
background.
that?
Yeah.
No truth to the rumor that Taylor Snyder is down there doing a session, but we'll see if we get some more information from her. As she has reported, it is very warm and humid, slight breeze blowing, so make it a little more comfortable as mission control now for Team Brady. Crunching the numbers. How do we get ourselves into P1 as they are 0.80 seconds off the pace?
Now, as we see, all teams have done well, the teams that we're timing have done 2 of their 3 laps they can do in this session. So it'll be interesting to see if it stays this way. There's not a lot of time at all.
5 minutes exactly.
1 and 2 with Westbrook and Brady. You know, we're talking less than a second there. There's so much that can change. That's not even a corner of difference. And I would say 1 good corner is the difference between this entire list of timing so far.
Okay, how key is it strategically to say, okay, in the first session we got the fastest time, or does Emma Kimmelainen say, you know what, I'm good, P2, 0.80 seconds down, I'm going to bring it in, get the boat checked out, let my partner get after it?
At this point, I think there's still a lot of learning that can come, and there's a lot of confidence you can build within your setup and your kind of feeling of the water. But then also, let's not forget that with this new format, the slowest 2 in this session are gone.
Get
That's
booted.
it. They go straight into they don't get to do anything else today, effectively. And then it's the same in the next session. So there is an element of survival to it, and that added jeopardy, I think, has just made everything a bit more exciting for the quali day.
There you see Timmy Hansen.
Now tell me this, Todd, do you think Eric Stark could make quite a good sort of action man?
Oh, absolutely.
He looks like a sort of a cookie cutter of an action man powerboat racer.
The pride of Sweden, Sierra Racing's Eric Stark has brought it in as we go back out on the water with 3:45 now remaining. Timmy Hansen as we go on board with Team Miami powered by Magnus and Mark Anthony, the owner. So Timmy Hansen having a bit of moment there, working that boost, trying to keep the throttle in there. You can almost listen, if we didn't have the soundtrack in the background, you can almost listen to the boat and understand or get a feel of how well they're going through the water.
Yeah, you can really hear when things go badly. You just hear that big kind of crash of water up against the bottom of the racebird. As we go on board with Emma Kimmelainen, this is looking pretty smooth. Nothing too much to worry about there, going through past that smart mark and this one. She's doing really well with the trim here. See, look at these micro adjustments. You know, we're talking 0.1, 0.2 at a time, just keeping that prop in the position that she needs it.
So she's working the trim, the ride height, plus the throttle, plus the boost, plus getting her racebird around the course. It's a lot to do, and it's amazing when you go on board and see them. They look so calm, like, it's no big deal, just to drive in the park.
Yeah, it is. And I was baffled by how they even managed to sensitively press these buttons on the wheel when they're just being thrown about on the water. Because it's not like they have suspension, you know, it's just water and racebird crashing into each other.
Sam Coleman, male driver for Team Brady. Remember, the 2-time reigning world champs. Their principals, Joe Sturdy, Ben King. So some open course now, an opportunity for Sarah Price to go out there and maybe up the ante. She's sitting on the fastest time so far, a 104.15, as we continue on with qualifying time trials here. The first group out, and we now approach just 2 minutes left in this session. Lots of data on the dash. And she is coming in hot to this next turn.
This is an important part of the course now. Let's see how she navigates these next few corners, new turns. Yeah, pretty nicely done there. Let's see. It's these next 2 really, just to get out of this second turn here and then be able to get straight back on the power again. Not badly done. Nose dips just kind of allows that water to pull the boat around in the... And I think that was the end of her lap there. So let's see, 104.15, still fastest. I think Emma Kimmelainen has done 3 laps now.
Okay.
She improved in the first and third sector in the last lap. It was really the second sector where she didn't improve.
So that leaves Danny Close, the only one on the third and final opportunity. Danny Close for Aoki Racing with Steve Aoki. And does move up a bit, so a nice improvement on that last opportunity for Danny Close.
He seems to have pulled out of this lap. An early boost, but let's see the timing-wise. Yeah.
And with the final 30 seconds to go, this is bringing this session to a close as we now go on board. Sarah Price, congratulations, great run out there. Give us an idea of what the conditions were like and how you were feeling.
Well, it's sort of a battle just to get track position, but we just sent it and prayed and crossed my fingers quite a bit. Just how it is driving this race bird, but I think we executed it great with our team.
Sarah, can you give us an idea of what the conditions like, obviously, with the salinity? And Sarah, can you give us an idea of what it's like with the salinity out there and how the boat is responding? And our apologies, technical issues. We've lost Sarah, but she has come in with the fastest time as qualifying for Group 1A has completed. 104.15 is the fastest time, and she gets it done as we send it down now to Taylor Snyder, who is down on the dock.
Down here on the launch zone with Lucas. Lucas, what a run that was from Sarah. We were standing here watching the times. What an impressive first start.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable start. Since Miami, Sarah is really, really flying with the race bird. She found something that suits to her driving style, and she nailed it again. What a lap she made, and quickest so far, but it's a long qualifying day. It's a different format than last year. We have to be consistent on the good times, on the top 8 first, and then go to Q1, then progress to Q2 and Super Pole. So good so far. So proud for Sarah, and you know she's been really tired after Dakar Rally. It's been a very stressful week for her. So far so good. Happy for her.
I spoke to your team principal a little bit ago. He said it's so nice having the same team. You guys are such a family, so you're able to kind of take that progress from last season and bring it here to this new season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was really important to keep in the same spirit, same team, and you know we built a good family since 2 years ago almost, and yeah, it's really unbelievable what we building, and yeah, she's the one now. Come here.
Sarah, what an incredible, we're just celebrating here with Lucas. You're riding a high right now. I know you just came off Dakar, so you're all about speed in this moment. You found it right now.
Yeah, you know, you get to this point where you just like settle in and you become like jelly, you know, in the racing, and I love it. Like, it's so cool I get to live this life, like coming from Dakar racing every day, straight into this, you know, it kind of helped me with my Dakar depression coming off of it. You know, I think everyone here hasn't raced as much as I have just recently, and so I'm kind of like all chill. And they're like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Sure."
It's been ready.
Obviously, it went okay.
Oh yeah.
Storm Rider on your kit. Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, so Storm Rider is last year, as you guys know, we went through quite the storm all the time. We always had the most randomest things happen to us. So Will came to one of our races and he was like, "You guys are like Storm Riders. You're always just riding through together, getting through the hard times." So yeah, Storm Riders.
I love it. Give us a shot of that. Let's see it. Storm Riders, they are taking that top spot here in this session. Thank you, Westbrook.
Keep it up. Thank you, guys.
All right, Taylor, and wow, Sarah sending it. Who comes from Dakar and goes right to Jeddah and gets right behind the wheel on board the race bird and throws that down? So a great job for her. 104.15 becomes that mark to beat. Emma Kimalina does a great job of trying to reel her in, but comes up just short. She goes P2, Miami goes P3, and Team Aoki goes 4 with Sierra Racing Club in 5th with a 107.15. So that is how the first session goes down in qualifying time trials. Group A is now complete, and we'll get things set up for group number B, but it is Westbrook Racing with Will Smith getting the fastest time at the wheel of Sarah Price.
Down here on the launch zone with Rusty Wyatt. Rusty, we are starting season 3 here in Jeddah. You've been here quite a while, so hopefully you're getting in the vibes, getting ready for actual racing. What is it like here? What's the vibe in Jeddah?
It's amazing. This is our home race, of course, second year being back here. It's a very nice course here. We got a big course, we got great water, we got a very competitive field of boats here for sure. We had 2 days of pre-testing, and I think we gained a lot of speed. I'm hoping that this is going to be our year, a little bit better, a little more podiums. We'll see how it goes.
Hopefully it is your year, but you're going to go into that with a little bit of newness. You have a different co-pilot with you. How has it been relearning things with the team?
Yeah, Nerea's super. She's obviously had 2 days of testing as well, and we've been kind of grinding together and kind of coming up with a plan for the qualifying here, and hopefully we can put it up top and be into the races tomorrow.
Wonderful. Well, I'm getting the team that you're ready to get into your boat, so I'll let you get out there for some qualifying. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And it's a beautiful day in Jeddah as we welcome you back to the E1 Jeddah GP. Saunders Carmichael Brown, Taylor Snyder, Todd Harris with you as we get ready for qualifying time trials. It'll be group number 2 getting ready to get out on the water to see what they can do. We saw moments ago Westbrook and Sarah Price putting out a fast time as they got the fastest time, and they sit P1 in group number 1. So there's the start list and the drivers. John Peters will go for Blue Rising, Tom Chap for Rafa. You've got Alula out there with Nerea Marti, Monaco bringing in Max Nosher, and Drogba will start off with Ava Miller-Hagen. So you got a little bit of debriefing and a little bit of intel from the boats that you saw out there, Saunders. How much of that is transferable? How much of that can you glean off of what you see in your eyes, or does it all have to be behind the wheel before you can get a real feel for how this course and how the water's holding up?
Well, at this point, all they've got to go by is their practice session,
right?
Really, because, you know, we've split the field now. We've had the first half of the field go out in that first section. Now we've got the other half going out now for the one of 2 pilots. So this is really where they learn for their next session. You know, this is where they can start talking about, I like, this is the good trim setting, we should do this, we should do that, the water's reacting this way, etc., etc. But they can definitely look at the conditions from the last session and say, you know what, there was a lot of time lost here, I'm not going to do the same.
And you see brand new team, Team Monaco, number 98, with pilots Oban Duncan and Max Nocher. We'll see Max first, as he will try to put down a fast time as the E1 World Championships continue to grow with Team Monaco coming on board. So teams get ready, and Team Rafa will be participating in this as well. We send it back down to the water. Taylor Snyder standing by with Chris Lazaraga.
Chris, we're down here on the launch zone, and you guys have a great spot. We're obviously lined up in order from last season. You are sitting in that second spot. I think it's a great place to be because you're right there going after Team Brady. What is the spirits like with your team?
Yes, I think we want to fight now to be in the first position. It's normal. We were very close last year. So let's see how the season starts. We will give our everything, as we always do, and I wish the best for Tom.
And what are Tom's spirits like? I know he's excited to be here. Is he ready for what's going to be going on today?
Yes, for sure. I mean, we always like to be here in Jeddah. The event is amazing, so we are really looking forward.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank you, Taylor, and thank you, Chris, for the time. Tom Chop now on board. Frenchman inside Team Rafa with their owner, Rafa Nadal. We'll see what they can put together. It's a pretty dynamic team, Saunders. You look at what they've got there, and they finished second place, as Chris alluded to. They missed out on the top spot by just 11 points to finish second overall.
Yeah, it was a really good battle towards the end of the season between them and Brady. Maybe we'll see the same again this season. I think Rafa, what they've got up their sleeve, I think they've always done really well in, is speed. When it comes to fastest laps, qualifying, they always get a lot of kind of pole positions earned, and Tom Chap being one of the fastest pilots, I would say, on the course. So I might now be quickly proven wrong or proven right. It's up to Tom.
And red flag comes out almost immediately as we are just over 19 minutes and 43 seconds, so everything comes to a start. But Team Blue Rising just got a great run on some very nice water.
Yeah, this gives us a chance to talk a bit about Team Blue Rising and John Peters.
Interesting situation this weekend.
It's an interesting situation. Yeah. You know, he's a teammate is Michelle Alabai-Dan, someone we're very familiar with in E1, but she's actually not taking part this weekend because she's had an injury. I think very recently actually underwent some surgery. So it's just John on his own. Yep. But as the format kind of dictates, you need a teammate. And now, effectively, this is kind of just making up the numbers, essentially, because the defaulting going to be bottom of the list for everything. So straight into the place race for John.
He's an interesting character. You look at his CV on the right-hand side, 19 Powerboat World Championships. But you cap things off, and let's not bury the lead here. He wants to start a pickle farm. So the king of starts gets things done there, and he gets an opportunity to really let that beautiful all-electric race bird go off the line. Unfortunately, red flag is out, so he'll have to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good opportunity just to kind of get up to speed with any changes and also the water conditions and just good feedback for the race bird, even if the time doesn't necessarily mean much, because he could put the fastest lap in, but without any teammate lap, it's effectively going to bring it to almost a zero. So, yeah.
So one of the buoys has been reported out of place, and they'll get that sorted out. Every now and then technology gets in the way, but we'll get it sorted here, and he will bring it back in, and we'll kick off qualifying time trial group number 2. You see the clock has frozen at 19:43, so they'll get their full complement minus 17 seconds.
Thing is, now when it goes back to green, there's going to be maybe a bit of a battle for track position and that all-important clean water.
So he'll get himself back into position. Bit of milling here as they are away from the launch zone. You get a good look across the bay here. Ober Bay in Jeddah. And the conditions are just about right. Very balmy in the 90s, high humidity, but not a lot of wind. You see, don't see a lot of ripples. Not a lot of ripples on the rosé today.
It doesn't look too bad, especially compared to what we saw last season. But you know, with anything on the water, things can change in a drop of a pin. You know, it's very, very, very quickly for conditions to go from smooth sailing to foils everywhere, salinity, you know, spray, wash, you name it. And that can all happen very, very quickly.
Worth noting last year that Aoki Racing took the win here. Team Rafa finished second, and Team Blue Rising finishing on the podium. So that was your 1, 2, 3. Eventual champions Team Brady finished in 5th.
Yeah.
So if you finish off the podium, do not despair. There are 7 more events and rounds of the UIM E1 World Championships, and E1 Jeddah GP 2026 will kick things off. And just trying to get out of the heat. Emma Kimalainen trying to get a little bit of a breather away from the heat.
It is warm down there, and I think maybe there's been a lot of reflection, I would say, in Team Brady and what happened this time last season in Jeddah. Because ultimately, I don't think it was necessarily like a huge drop in performance based on what we've seen for them to eventually go and win the second championship. I think it was really, I mean, it might be bold to say, it just kind of came down to the prop choice.
Yeah.
They went for top speed, whereas, you know, Aoki went for
stability, ride height,
and
everything,
acceleration, and that gave Aoki the balance and the win. It was kind of more about that. It's just a bad call, but they learned because
pick
they
the
won
right
the
formula.
championship
Yeah, and Emma Kimalainen certainly has done her part as she went out on group number 1 and put down the second fastest time. Remember, folks, in qualifying time trials, you just want to be above the bottom 2. The bottom 2 will be limited. Everyone else lives to fight another round.
Can we spend some time talking about Max Nocher? Because I am so excited. Now, I don't want to just put so much pressure on his first time racing in E1, but I mean, we haven't really had a lot of foil experience in E1 so far. And this guy's an 11-time World Kite Foil champion.
Yes.
Sure, that means he knows how to control changing water with foils. Yeah, it's a very useful bit of expertise there. But translating that to a wheel and a powertrain and a motor and a prop, slightly different. So it'll be very interesting to see if that does translate as well as I think it could.
You had me at fastest kite surfer from Monaco to Corsica. That's a great distance. So you're going from Monaco to basically an island of France, and he absolutely booked across and made it happen. So did a fantastic job as we are still on red flag as we will try to get things all sorted out and get ready. But right now we'll set it back down on the dock. Taylor Snyder standing by with a very important guest.
Down here on the launch zone, Michael Wilkinson from Team Drogba Global Africa. We're back for season 3. You've got a new teammate. How's everything looking so far heading into the first day of racing?
Yeah, super excited to be back in season 3 with Team Drogba. Got a great new teammate. Yeva's out there at the moment, just milling around, ready to let it rip. And yeah, whole new team. We've got the legend Scott Gilman running the show, so it's great to have him and looking forward to a good year.
And Jeddah's wonderful. We were just watching some of it before we had that stop in the racing, but the water is great here. What is it like being in the boat?
Yeah, it's beautiful here. This Corniche here is gorgeous. The water's flat. Even though it's midwinter, it's pretty toasty in there. I'm not used to that at the moment, but no, it's beautiful. We're loving it.
Wonderful. All right, well, thank you for chatting with me. Best of luck when you get out there.
Thanks very much.
So Michael Wilkinson will have his opportunity for Team Drogba Global Africa and their owner Didier Drogba and their principal Scott Gilman. He was referred to as a legend. I don't know how you get that, but that's pretty awesome. As we go on board right now, and you can see Eva Miller-Hagen checking out the stats, all the data on board, and trying to, like the rest of us, figure out why is the red flag still up.
I think she's very much going to be trying channeling her performance from Lagos last season, because it was pretty much a clean sweep. You know, it was the final race win, but then also they won qualifying as well. Fastest lap, she kind of got the whole sweep done. It was a really big moment for her and the team. So she can channel that performance now.
Looks very calm as she is trying to go through everything. A third-generation powerboat racer, 18 and 19 European powerboat champion, so she has the experience on the water. As you've mentioned before, Saunders, it's all about can you come to grips and can you understand the foiling and the ride height and get the picture-perfect formula to make it work.
Yeah, it is a real balance, and I think that's where all the expertise from all the different disciplines, you can take little bits from each of them, but they all have their place. But my eyes are definitely, I'm putting so much pressure on poor Max, but I think I'm very interested to see. But maybe the conditions, you know, aren't difficult enough right now for those expertise to really come out.
It looks like Team Alula is going to bring it back into the dock. Maybe check some things out, or maybe this is an extended red flag. We can tell you, though, that we have 3 more 20-minute qualifying time trial sessions here. And then it'll be on to Q1, which will be 2 laps. That'll be groups of 4 and 4. Then it'll be on to Q2, which will be 2 laps, and that'll be groups of 3 and 3. And by the end of the day, we will be awarding some points. So that's the most important thing. You get 3 points for the fastest lap. Of course, 1 point for the fastest lap of the weekend. And the qualifying pole shootout will wrap up our coverage today as Team Monaco pops the lid. Max Nocher is going to let that thing breathe a bit.
I do need to correct myself a little bit.
Okay.
I've given
Wait a second, you're telling me you made a mistake.
No, I need to give Michael Wilkinson a bit of credit because although we know him as powerboat racing, he does have a bit of foiling experience in the sailing world. So it isn't just Max that has that experience. And one thing that, to kind of even double down on the pressure I'm putting on Max is that Mike actually had a pretty strong start to his life in E1. So maybe there is a good translation of expertise there.
So Team Rafa also bringing it in as well. So this could be an extended red flag situation. We got 17 seconds in to Group 2's qualifying time trial. The red flag went up, being notified that one of the buoys is out of place, GPS controlled, so they're going to try to get that all dialed in. Want to make sure that everyone has the exact same course, as we saw just moments ago for Westbrook Racing and Sarah Price putting on the fastest time. Second fastest time so far we've seen coming from Team Brady's Emma Kimmelainen. So all the race birds have come home to roost, and they will sit and wait before we get this all sorted out. It gives the tech crews an opportunity to just go through and make sure everything is working to near perfection.
Were you working on that one? Race birds coming home to roost. That is top class commentary.
You know, sometimes Saunders things just come out organically.
Fantastic. I enjoyed that a lot. I'm always a big fan of any punnage that can be
You're in for
added.
a long weekend, my friend. In for a long weekend. So keeping it cool is one thing, and I think folks at home talking, following up on Taylor Snyder's report of how warm it is out there, you're wearing a full race suit, and some of these teams may be reconsidering race colors, because when you're rocking full black, dark colors in the heat, inside the race bird, it's going to be a bit toasty.
Yeah, it's not like there's air conditioning.
No,
in there, you know, it's exceptionally hot.
Not seat coolers.
And also because it's the Red Sea, you know, it's, in terms of bodies of water, it's probably the most salt-ridden or what would be the word? Like kind of
highest level of salinity.
That's the one.
There you
That's
go.
the one. Highest level of salinity, and sometimes you see that, don't you? So I'm going to keep my eyes on the Team Brady colours because their black suit might be slightly more white at the end.
Yeah, Monaco's looking very good there with the white, predominantly white with the red and black trim. Maybe we can listen in.
Now look at that Team Blue Rising.
Yeah.
I think this chap here, on top of John Peters' Racebird, probably has the most important job of the season, of the weekend.
The umbrella?
The one who was wiping the windshield, because the salt and the water, any spray they get when it comes to being in the wake or the wash of a racebird in front, it's just going to make that almost impossible to see out of. We saw a lot of it last season causing a lot of trouble, so keeping the windshield clean throughout the weekend is going to be very important as well. So just a bit of a shout out to everyone else in the team. It's not just about the
Everyone
pilots.
plays a part. I thought you were going to say for
Everyone's got a
sure
role.
the guy holding the umbrella is the key guy, keeping that cool.
Certainly for John. For
Exactly.
JP,
John
for
right
sure.
now is saying you are the man. See a little bit of a swell rolling in as everyone is trying to get themselves into position. So we have this opportunity now to go down back on the dock. Taylor Snyder standing by with Oben Duncan from one of the new teams here in 2026, Team Monaco.
Down here with one of our new teams, Team Monaco. Oben, you have joined forces. I now can find you in red so easy, but what an exciting start for season 3. You were just speaking to your new teammate, Max. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going amazing. The team are great, and we're so excited to be here. Race 1, season 1 for us. So yeah, big learning curve, but we're really excited.
And Max is obviously no stranger to the water with his background. Of course, you're not either. I remember your old teammate calling you a weapon out there on the water. So this is quite the force to be working together. What have you learned from each other?
Yeah, absolutely. Max knows so much about the foils and about how boats in general work. So it's great that I can bring the racebird knowledge, and together I think we're making a really great team.
Do you guys have any sort of slogan or motto, or what's your biggest goal for going into this race specifically here in Jeddah?
Our biggest goal is learn everything so that in the next race we can do better. Just improving all the time, every session, every lap, every day. That's our goal.
And the heat. You guys surviving here in Jeddah with the heat?
Yeah, the heat is tough, but we're trying to stay in the shade as much as possible. The boats are getting really warm, but yeah, we're doing our best.
Wonderful. Thank you for chatting with me, Oben.
Thank you so much.
Oben makes a really good point there, and for what maybe she lacks in age experience, she's only 20 years old, she makes up with E1 experience. She's had 12 races, but is yet to find that all-elusive win. So, but there's a lot of experience still at the same time. So combine that, as she said, with Max's foiling and boat experience and things. It could be an interesting dynamic because she's been close. She has some good performances, but yeah, just hasn't had that win yet.
So Taylor continues to report from the launch zone. We're still under a red flag as Sarah Price can now get a bit of breather in as she put down the fastest time in Group 1, which we saw just a short time ago. And she will wait for her partner, Lucas Ordonez of Spain, to get his qualifying times in. Love to get a look at her passport. All the stamps in it coming from Dakar and now in Jeddah, and she's just bouncing around the globe.
Yeah.
There's a race somewhere, Sarah's there.
She said the benefit of not having any acclimatization as well. Like she's been in Saudi for about a decent 3 weeks, I think, at least, with all the work she's been doing with Defender for Dakar. But it is, for the Europeans, it's only 3 or 4 hours time difference.
Team Blue Rising, Zavira Coley, and driver right now, John Peters, who will be doing double duty this weekend, just trying to stay cool inside that all-electric race bird at the launch zone as he waits for the officials to say all clear and race course is ready.
A pilot that will want to be making full advantage of the quite placid water as it is at the moment, because he's got 64, you heard me right, 64 speed records to his name. I think more so than anyone on the water in history.
Micah Wilkinson, Team Drogba Global Africa, Didier Drogba, Eva Miller-Hagen. Possibly going to be talking with Taylor Snyder momentarily, as everyone is in a long, protracted standby mode, including Tom Chap out of France and Team Rafa. This makes everyone just find, I want to go racing. I want to go racing because it's going to be a long day. As we mentioned earlier, qualifying time trials, 4 sessions. Then we've got Q1, 2 sessions, Q2, 2 more sessions. And of course, the qualifying pole shootout will wrap up the day with just the top 4 teams. And you asked, and we will deliver. Let's send it back down to the launch zone and Taylor Snyder with yet another guest.
Back on the launch zone here with Eva. I know you were sitting with your new teammate, Micah. You've got your helmet on, so you're ready to go. What is it like for these stop and goes? Does the pressure stay high? Do you still stay excited to get back in the boat?
Yes, of course. I'm excited to get back in the boat and be fully concentrated on a quali lap so that I don't make mistakes, or as less mistakes as possible. And I'm fully ready.
You're fully ready, and you're going to be fully ready for the season. This is obviously your permanent seat, your first season with a permanent seat. What's it going to be like with a full calendar?
I mean, it's a great pleasure to race for Team Drogba Global Africa, and it will be amazing season alongside with Micah and all the teammates, so we will go for it.
And Micah definitely has some experience with this season before. What's one piece of advice that he's given you before getting in the boats?
We are exchanging a lot of information. I mean, he have get the whole season too, so he have huge experience with the boat, and I'm learning from Micah a lot. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eva.
All right, thank you, Taylor. She continues to hustle down there in the launch zone, talk and meet with all the pilots. Eva doing her job, and she's going to go back to the shade and chillax just a little bit. Team Alula already breaking down data. Nina Marti out of Spain, waiting for an opportunity. Already spoke with Rusty Wyatt, the Canadian driver. So it's standby here at E1 Jeddah GP, day number 1 of the 2026 season, round 1 of 8. 8 beautiful events on 4 continents as these all-electric powerboat racing race birds circumnavigate the globe, and we will bring you all the action as soon as we go racing and the red flag is clear. The next group will be underway. It'll be a 20-minute session. And remember, the goal today, or at least in this qualifying time trial, Saunders, is just make sure you are not in the bottom 2 as far as times.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, we've got the average time of each team's pilots, their fastest lap, ranking them from 1st to 10th. And as you say, slowest 2 eliminating qualifying. Then we move into the qualifying 1 and 2, which is 1 pilot from each team. They have 2 attempts, just 2 attempts to record a fastest lap. And this, again, slowest 2 teams after that will be eliminated. So it's sort of, yeah, it's racing for time and survival, which is a great addition, I think, to today. I really like it.
So it's a win and move on situation for the 10 teams here competing in Jeddah. Just hoping for the tech to be sorted out here so they can get back out on the water. If you're just joining us here, we saw Westbrook racing, and Sarah Price putting up a fast time. Emma Kimalani and Team Brady able to get the 2nd fastest time for the 2-time world champions. And there is the scene right now in the launch zone as the water awaits. So no update yet from the course marshals. The tech crews doing their best to get this all sorted out. If you're just joining us again, we had a buoy situation out of place, so they'll get that back in because we want to make sure everyone has the exact same course to race on. No unfair advantages as we continue on with qualifying time trials here on day number 1 of the E1 Jeddah GP 2026. All dressed up and nowhere to go, and as soon as the course is clear, we will get teams back out in the milling area as they will depart the launch zone, and they'll be race on. So for everyone not racing today, Saunders, the recommendation would be A, find some shade, B, get hydrated, and C, just mention Taylor Snyder's name and you might get into the Ocean Club.
Yeah, that would certainly be my objective, to try and get where the aircon is and the soft, cool drinks are.
Middle of January and temperatures hovering around 30 Celsius in the 90s Fahrenheit. But as all the pilots have said, they love the course. It's a great course, wide open, plenty of space, and flat, smooth water, especially right now with none of the race birds out on the water and a very slight breeze, just enough to move the air just a little bit, but not create too much ripple and disturbance on that water.
I think with one of the biggest challenges in E1 being around getting up on the foil and staying on the foil where it matters, when you've got this really high salinity water, that denser water actually makes getting up on the foil easier. So it must be quite rewarding as a pilot to know that if you do make a mistake, if you've got the right prop choice, you can get back up on the foil quickly. And that experience probably feels a lot nicer, I imagine, behind the wheel than it would do on the fresh water without that salt and just being a lot more work to get the foil back up.
Team Rafa's male driver, Tom Chapp, Frenchman, talking with the tech crew on the shore. Possibly second thinking an all-black kit today.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. I'm glad that at least he's taken some of the helmet and everything off just to kind of keep as cool as possible.
Which makes me believe if Tom Chapp is out of his race bird in the launch zone and just talking casually without a helmet on, it means we're probably a few minutes away. Remember, we got 17 seconds into Group 2's 20-minute session, and everything went to a red flag.
Yeah, I think they've definitely been given the all clear to get out of the race bird, and for good reason, because as you mentioned, it's very hot, and it doesn't look like, even just looking at the water, there's a huge amount of breeze coming in. You've got some swinging umbrellas, but nothing that's really going to cool you down as much as you would need to be.
Again, mention Taylor's name, get into the Ocean Club, find yourself some aircon and a beverage.
Sweet aircon.
It's just a beautiful setup right here. Nice open area, good course. And we're just waiting to go racing again on day number 1, round 1 of 8 for the E1 Jeddah GP. And I'll tell you what, you know who the Iron Man is in this group? John Peters, Team Blue Rising, he said, I'm not going to get out of the bird. I'm going to stay in.
What does he know that the others don't?
I know.
Maybe the Team Blue Rising race bird does have aircon.
All right, now he's got a good umbrella. He's got a smile on his face, and the American wants to go racing. So Peters will sit and wait as he will do Ironman duty this weekend for his squad due to injury. Make sure he can garner some points and salvage round 1 and Jeddah. Team Blue Rising, they were on the podium last year in 3rd place. And Taylor has now found someone else to visit with, so we send it back down to Mission Control in the launch zone. Taylor, who do you got?
I have made my way to Mission Control. This is kind of a different view for us, and I found Cyan from Team Blue Rising. You guys are starting off with some challenges. Obviously, John Peters is in there on his own. I don't think that'll be a problem, though. From what I know from him, he is a force of nature.
Yes, that is true. Like, we have a few confusions and challenges for this one. Our pilot, Michelle, injured her finger, because of which we could not continue, and there were no reserve pilots available in this race. So that's why he's going alone, and we'll make do.
You'll absolutely make do. I have no doubt about that. You guys are Team Blue Rising, so you've got quite the force behind you. Any insight into strategy here at Mission Control for the team?
So we're figuring out a lot of things have changed. The qualification stages, there's a new stage included there, makes the format more interesting. So we'll figure things out as we go.
And how does John manage being both pilot and team principal? Other teams obviously have their principals up here and then their drivers. How does he manage to do both?
So I'll say that it's more of an advantage to him because he gets the information both from TP side and the pilot side. So he has a bit of an extra additional information edge compared to other pilots and principals as well, because he has the perspective of being a pilot down there and also the perspective of being a TP, and so knowing all the rules in depth. So that works in our advantage, actually.
Okay, well, thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you.
I'm going to see if I can grab another word with somebody else. Team Rafa, I always enjoy speaking with you guys. So serious, but up here we're all smiles. We're going into this next season of racing. You guys are right where you want to be, right behind Team Brady, fighting for that #1 spot. What's changed, if anything?
Yeah, I think we were quite close to Team Brady last year, and this year is definitely the one for us, I think. We've been structuring the team, getting even more performance, and now let's see what we can do for the first round.
Wonderful, thank you so much. I'm going to make my way back down. I think we have a little bit of time, and normally this is where team principals hang out and all the tech work, but I found somebody who's not team principal. We've got some troublemakers up here. Danny and Sarah, you guys are hanging out here obviously just for the air conditioning, right? Not to spy on any other teams.
No, we cannot expand much stuff, but no, it's one of those moments that we need to like talk, relax, put things in common to see what we're gonna do on track. But yeah, so far so good.
How's your new teammate doing?
Good, very good. I'm very happy, to be honest.
And what do you guys speak about when you're up here? Is it about water conditions? Is it about experience in the boat? Is it about your particular laps out there? What goes on in your conversations to make a difference?
I think the most thing we talk about is how we're feeling in the boat, what he's doing out there versus what I'm doing, trying to find a middle ground of where he's gaining versus where I'm losing, to see where I can learn from. So it's just a matter of swapping information and just trying our best out there.
All right, well, I'll leave you two to continue chatting. Thanks for chatting with me.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And Taylor, great work in there as we're going to take a slight break and we'll stand down. The red flag continues on here in qualifying time trials. Group number 2 got 17 seconds in, and then everything came to a halt. So we'll get the tech all sorted out, and then it'll be back to racing. You're watching day number 1 of the UIM E1 World Championship, presented by PIF. We're back with more racing from Jeddah in just a matter of moments. And it's another beautiful day here in Jeddah at the E1 Jeddah GP as we get ready for group number 2. We've already seen one group of the qualifying time trials on day number 1, and we're about to get underway for group number 2. 5 more pilots inside their all-electric race birds as we take a look at the course map with Saunders Carmichael Brown.
Thanks, Todd. Yeah, good opportunity to remind ourselves of the course that our pilots will be battling this weekend, set alongside the Jeddah Corniche. Now, we said it before, it's sort of defined by 2 halves. You've got the fastest part of the course, that's the bit next to the seawall. That's where all the speed comes from, all of the good timings, and then it kind of turns into more technical for the other 2 parts, the 2 kind of rear and front end of the circuit. You see here, this banking turn, collection of turns, really important to keep up on the foil, manage it perfectly, don't be too imbalanced, and when it comes to the racing, don't get caught in the wash in the wake of the pilots and the race birds in front. But we are still in this qualifying thing. It's all about lap time. It's all about staying in the game, not being eliminated, and getting yourself through to the next session.
So they'll be ranked 1 through 10, the average time for both pilots. And remember, the bottom 2, to Saunders' point, the bottom 2 teams will be eliminated from going forward into Q1. So as we mentioned, Westbrook Racing already has had a practice session out there. They put down the fastest time with their pilot, Sarah Price of the USA, putting in a great performance just ahead of defending champions Team Brady and Emma Kimmelainen. And there is your start list for the second group. John Peters pulling double duty as his female partner is injured. Tom Chapp, Aiva Miller-Hagen, Rusty Wyatt for Alula, and Max Noshir for the new Team Monaco. So the teams have left the launch zone, which is a good sign, and they will now start milling around. We'll see who makes the move first. 20 minutes. Now, it's very important that you know you're just trying to put down a fast time, 3 laps max, as we come up on 2:20 to go before the start of this session. We go on board Team Blue Rising, and there he is, John Peters, pulling double duty this weekend. And this really is the calm before the storm as we approach 2 minutes. Other teams now milling about, having their opportunity inside the shade before they get ready to get their opportunity to go out there. It's a long day of qualifying. Remember, it's 3 laps here in qualifying time trials. Then we'll move on to Q1, which will be 2 laps, another 2 laps in Q2. And of course, we end things off with the qualifying pole shootout. And that is where points are available. Number 1 team will take 3 points. Second place will take 2, and third will take 1.
Sarah Price made a really good point in the first session about all-important track position or course position, trying to get in the clean water to get the best chance of making a smooth start and getting a good lap time in. Because if you end up just being in the wash or the race bed in front, it's effectively lap gone.
So under 90 seconds to go now, the milling process underway on a very warm and humid day here in Jeddah. Round 1 of 8, season 3 underway here in 2026. And this is qualifying time trial group number 2 as we are just about a minute away from go time.
I love this bit. It's almost like the pack of lions ready to pounce on the hyena or something. So who's going to get the first chance? Who's going to get the clean water and get their best opportunity for a good lap?
And if you're not too antsy, Saunders, is there some credence or some value in just laying back a second, letting those jump ahead, let the dogs hunt for about the first 30 seconds and then jump on the course and maybe find some cleaner, smoother water?
Yeah, certainly a strategy they could apply. I guess the thing is you've got your 3 laps you can put in and a minimal amount of time to do it in. So what you don't want to do is leave it too late, leave too much on the table and then not get the opportunity to get that fast lap at the end.
All right, so 20 seconds away from Group 2's qualifying time trial as we will see what they can put up, what kind of knowledge they have gleaned off of watching that first group. And here we go. Moves are being made. Final 10 seconds and the count is on.
John Peters made the first move. Looking like he's going to get the best course position. Trying to keep up on that foil. Let's see how balanced he can be going into this first set of turns, because this is basically where the lap time is won or lost in this first bit after the fast bit of the start-finish straight.
Nice piece of driving there on board as we go with Team Blue Rising. John Peters out of the USA doing a great job. Take you on board. Look at him work the boost and the throttle at the same time. How do you like his numbers as far as ride height and trim?
It's looking pretty good. I think there's very minimal adjustment going on in the trim, which means he's probably comfortable with the way that Racebird is sitting out of the water on the foil. It's really adjusting the prop with that trim to keep it balanced. He's not having to do too much, and you can see it right there. It's almost perfectly parallel with the waterline, just gliding or flying across. That's why we call them Racebirds.
So the foiling is working here as we are now still 19 minutes away after that short delay to get the smart markers back into place. And Team Blue Rising will come in and set the line to beat, the time to beat, I should say. And look at this. Comes across the line. Look at that, 107.40.
Now, who is next on the water to be the first to try and beat that?
Team Rafa.
It's Tom Chapp. This is someone that knows exactly what it takes to get a fast lap in. Very, very accomplished in E1. Let's see what he can do. Already looking good. I think that'd be, just looking at John Peters there, he looked very smooth, but in comparison to where he stands now in the kind of more wider timings, he's 3 seconds off Sarah's pace.
Sarah Price out of Westbrook Racing. Will Smith's squad has put up a time of 104.15. That came in the first session. This is group number 2. They'll have like 20 minutes to try to put in 3 fast laps. Don't have to come consecutively, but they've got to get in there and knock them down. So all the teams right now, or I should say just Team Blue Racing, Rafa, the only ones who have completed. We still have to hear from Alula, Drogba, and Monaco.
On board now with Jedha Malere-Hagen, looking a bit imbalanced on that back straight there. Let's see if she can make up time. Certainly not as parallel to the water as we've seen so far. This looking a bit better now, improved in that final sector of the course. What can she do at the end in this last sector? Yeah, 8 seconds off.
Pace. Yeah. So it gives you an idea of just how fast and how in tune with the Racebird Sarah Price was as she laid down that 104.15. What's your confidence level of that time holding up?
Well, I mean, we've had 1 lap now into this second session, so let's see how they can improve, because they will improve. Sure. There's so much you can learn from every single lap you can do here. Conditions-wise, I don't think we've seen a huge change in conditions between the 2 sessions, which obviously can impact lap time quite a lot. But I think it's just getting the learnings in. This is the first time these guys have been out competitively this weekend, so it's not like they can learn from a teammate, which will obviously be the benefit in the next 2 sessions.
Max Nosure, welcome to the show as the new team, Team Monaco, not dead last. They currently sit in 8th, and that would be good enough going forward after all the sessions because they would not be eliminated. The top 8 teams will be moving on to Q1. So the pride of Monaco, Max Nosure right now, looking very calm, cool, very smooth on board. And you look at his eyes and his head, very little movement. You think it was a very nice little ride.
They're just comfortably sitting in the milling area at the moment as Team Alula go for their first lap of the weekend. Maria Marti. Now this was quite an anticipated crossover when she first joined because, standout talent when it comes to F1 Academy, W Series, and asphalt racing, 4 wheels on the circuit. So there's a good discipline there of competitive racing, which is all important tomorrow when it comes to the racing here. But the big question is, how quickly can you move from tarmac to water and learn a very different discipline?
There is the aforementioned Team Alula with LeBron James, their owner. Maria Marti of Spain out on the water. Ooh.
Not looking very smooth, is it, Todd, currently?
Finding the going just a little bit rough there on the backside of the course.
So let's look at
So they avoid the bottom and they slot into 9th place, 5.01 seconds off the fastest time put up by Westbrook Racing's Sarah Price. So that's 1 lap complete for everyone in group number 2. Team Blue Rising, Rafa, Monaco, Alula, and Drogba have all completed 1 of their 3 qualifying laps.
See Tom Chap going for his second lap now, Team Rafa. Let's see what he can do. A little bit of work to do to get from currently where they sit, 7th quickest, all the way up to Sarah Price at 1:04. Tom Chap has been in that top spot when it comes to qualifying and won lap plenty of times in E1 before. And he has improved so far in the first sector, almost a second taken off his time. Smoothly making his way around the course. Now there's a big opportunity. Will we see a bit of boost getting applied here to make up some time as we get towards the end of this second sector? Massive improvement.
That angle, yeah. Watch this turn. Ooh, big touchdown. So Tom Chap right now and Team Rafa would be safe if the qualifying ended right here. They're in 7th place. Remember, the top 8 will be moving on to Q1, and he will move up a position. So they go into a top 6 position, 3.06 seconds off the fastest time put up by Westbrook Racing.
Yeah, made a lot of position up, a lot of time up in that first sector, but then lost it in the second and third. It did look like it was going to be a really good lap,
yeah.
But we actually, I think we saw the moment where the time was lost, that big crash into the water, where all the balance was lost.
Let's go back on with Team Drogba. Eva Miller-Hagen out on the water.
Yeah, this isn't looking like the lap that would do the business, I think, when it comes to the time set so far, but still good learning to make. There's still an opportunity to put down a good time and get yourself up the order.
Came in hot on that last corner, made the hard left-hand turn and crosses the line. So no improvement there for Drogba as they remain in 10th place. And right now that's an elimination zone. They, along with Team Alula, would not move on if the qualifying time trials ended right here. Fortunately, there are 2 more groups to go after this one. Remember, it is the average time combined between the female and male pilots as we take you on board Monaco.
That was very smooth through that turn. I put so much pressure on Max. Like I'm really anticipating how well he can do just because of that foiling experience.
You have high expectations for him.
do.
That's okay.
I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, he can't hear me, so it's probably a good thing. But I'm just very, very eager to see how he gets on because it could be quite a defining moment for E1 as a sport. You know how much that foiling experience, more foiling experience than anyone that's ever raced in E1. What it means to the racing, or is it really just its own complete unique discipline where you need different expertise, not just one thing?
So he stays back out there on the hot lap. That last lap, not an improvement on where he was sitting, plus 4.63 seconds off the mark to beat. But Monaco right now is currently in a safe spot in 8th place. Want to correct ourselves, that is Rusty Wyatt that is out on the water. For Team Alula, not Nerea Marti of Spain. So the Canadian Rusty Wyatt trying to improve upon last year's finish here in Jeddah, where Team Alula finished in 7th place.
Big improvement, purple in the second sector, and a personal best in the third sector. So let's see how this ends up.
Gotta love this course, Saunders, and the fact that, you know, there are still ripples out there, obviously, but not as much chop after a boat goes through. It seems like it settles down pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, I came into this weekend expecting to see almost a rinse and repeat of what we saw last season on a similar body of water, which is just that kind of Red Sea chop causing chaos when it comes into the corners. Yeah, it obviously has a bigger impact when there's more race birds racing up against each other, but it did still have an impact in qualifying, and that's where the prop choice came into it. We saw Team Aoki do exceptionally well from qualifying and the race here last year because they got that prop choice right. They went for acceleration rather than top speed. They went for getting back on the foil when they came off of it, whereas I think Brady, looking at as the reigning champions, they went for the opposite. They went for top speed, trying to make the most of those long straights, but it didn't necessarily work out. But This weekend, if the water stays as it is, slightly more calm, that top speed may be a bit more beneficial this season than it was last.
So the breeze just picking up on shore as Team Rafa is going to come in here and get a little shelter. Tom Chap slowing things down. Look at this. He's going to get a lineup. Look at this. A perfect direct shot. So here we go on board Team Rafa as we take you for a ride here in Jeddah.
He's done 2 laps. There's only 3 allowed. Obviously, you can abort 1 each session, so that this could be the lap that does it.
Just over 3 seconds off the pace, put up by Westbrook Racing Sarah Price with a 104.15. So far, so good as we take you back inside the cockpit of this beautiful race bird.
Boost is being applied, full throttle going into this turn. Interesting that they've chosen to do this quite relatively early in the session. Still 8 minutes left, you know, still plenty of time to put a lap time in, but maybe that he knows something that we don't. Maybe he wants to make advantage of clean water where it is. Maybe that might not be the case with everyone rushing to get their final lap in towards the end.
He might have got some secret information from Mission Control that says go, 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 and so he is lighting it up out on the course all by himself. Monaco back out on the course for their qualifying run. Looks like Monaco is also trying to get that 3rd and final qualifying time in, but it is Rafa that we're keeping our eyes on right now as Tom Chap out of France brings it around, and we'll see what this does. Currently sitting in 6th place.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is going to improve a great amount. Yeah, it wasn't his best lap there. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think him and the team will definitely want to dissect that information now. What's causing the lack of speed that we've known to come and love from Team Rafa and Tom Chap.
Team Monaco right now would be holding down the final transfer spot, that 8th position, and that's got to make you a little nervous going in, especially into that 4th and final qualifying group, Saunders. If you're an 8th, you got to be thinking, oh man, we are certainly on the bubble.
Yeah, it's crunch time now. You've really got to do everything you can to not be eliminated. It was a good first sector, personal best from Max Nosche. Sector 2, not really anything to write home about. Can he make up all the time he needs? Currently just over half a second off the pace in the 3rd sector. Let's see how he gets on. Yeah, purple in the 3rd sector, but doesn't necessarily change his position. So good learning, good improvement that last sector, but still work to be done in the first 2.
So Monaco and Team Rafa both completed their 3 qualifying laps here in group number 2. Interesting, John Peters has only done 1, and then 2 laps for Rusty Wyatt for Alula, and Aeva Miller-Hagen of Drogba also sitting on 2. Still 6.5 minutes to go in Group 2's qualifying of 20 minutes after a bit of a delay, getting a marker back in place. So maybe some of these teams have played the strategy just right as teams will now exit the area. We go back out on the course. Look at this.
That was looking pretty quick for Yeva and Team Drogba there. Let's see how she gets on in this lap. Yeah, it's a personal best in the 1st sector. Looking very composed behind the... I mean, I'd be a mess in there, I would honestly. Which is so, yeah.
Ava, one of the pilots that was able to speak with Taylor Snyder during the delay, got her thoughts. She is all ready to go. It's a full send moment, and conditions could not be better right now. A little bit of chop out there. You see some of the ripples, but she's got a nice ride height, keeping it smooth, not a lot of bouncing.
It's a perfect balance there of the trim and the prop. You know, you can see the nose just trying to dip up, and she's constantly counter-correcting it, bringing it back down to the water. Although it got the opportunity to pop up, it got caught up, and then that's a lap killer. When that happens, you can lose so much time. It was looking good at that point. She had personal best in the 1st and the 2nd sector. Now I think she's trying to make up time. She's pushing and she's losing the balance, and yeah, that one little moment could have cost her the whole lap.
So her 3 laps are now complete, unfortunately unable to improve, and they remain in 10th position, which is a very precarious spot as we were halfway done with qualifying time trials. I should say 4 minutes and 48 seconds away from being done.
And let's not forget as well, you know, we're looking at the average of each team's pilots fastest lap, you know, so to rank them overall 1st to 10th when everybody's taken part. So not only is it not a good lap for you as an individual if you're down there and you'd be eliminated,
hand it off to your partner.
You're giving your partner an even harder job to do.
few bravos as Max brings it in. Doesn't look like he's super thrilled with that, but they are definitely in a decent position right now. Just 4 seconds off the fastest time, which is 8th place. Meanwhile, for Rafa, they currently sit in 6th.
It's not to arrive to the top. It's not the top speed. It's to get in the top speed.
Claro. And don't you think that when you press the button, a lot of time to arrive?
Yeah,
This was my feeling before, like I press the button until I get to the top.
Là-bas, je suis complètement stoppé.
Oh, just when we thought we were getting some key information, they changed the language. Yeah, Team Rafa.
You're not going to translate for us.
No, unfortunately not. Fly on the wall there for a bit to Rafa information. Now, Tom Chap was saying that he found that it wasn't about the top speed, it was about getting there.
Yep.
So maybe there's not enough chance on those long straights to reach that top speed, which is effectively maybe a prop choice thing. You know, it's the work the prop has to do in the water to get to that point of top speed.
All right, here we go. Flat and open, and it is on. Team Alula, Rusty Wyatt out on the water. You're not going to get many conditions this good, and he's already having a few issues there. A couple bobbles, dips the nose a little bit, comes off the foils. Needs a full second to move into an 8th place for 8th fastest time here for the qualifying. Will be halfway done when he completes this. 2:36 remaining. The only team left that's got that 3rd and final lap to do. Look at that. That's quality right there.
Yeah, it's a big improvement there. It's just over 3 seconds of improvement in those first 2 sectors, most of it coming from the 2nd sector. So, you know, we talked about a second difference, but then, you know, one slip, one corner, one bit of imbalance can go from being, you know, as we just see right here in the timings, from being 3 seconds improved to being half a second worse. It's really remarkable how quickly things can change.
So it's not going to be the fastest time as he'll come across from the 1:08.09. So Alula will stay in that 8th for now, 3.93 seconds off the pace. So Nira Marti of Spain there on the left side of your screen will be the next to get in when their next qualifying group comes around, and she will know exactly what she needs to do from some improvement. So one boat still remains out on course, and that being the Iron Man, Team Blue Rising with John Peters.
It's just, I mean, you would say this is a smart strategy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If the situation wasn't different with the team and only having one pilot.
But he's only got a minute 20 to get it done, and so he's going to have to hustle himself up.
But he's crucially left himself potentially 2 chances in a row to build up from momentum. And let's think, with everyone starting cold,
sure,
getting that kind of like that push onto the start-finish straight for the first lap, he can continue a lap potentially and do 2 on the bounce.
So I
if he can
should
get
know
them in
this,
time.
but is as long as he's started a qualifying lap, is he fine? Or if the clock goes to 0 and he's on course, does it shut things down?
I think now, given that we are 50 seconds left in the session and he hasn't started that lap yet, he's looking just to do 1.
There we go.
Because he's run out of time to be able to do 2, which is a shame because there could have been a good opportunity to really follow up momentum from one into the other.
Well, this is either a genius maneuver by John Peters for Team Blue Rising, or he's crazy like a fox, but he's now on course, the only boat on course here in Ober Bay in Jeddah, and now the clock has started.
Watching tentatively now to see what the very, very experienced powerboat racer and world record speed holder can do here on the Red Sea in Jeddah. Constantly adjusting that trim to try and keep the racebird as balanced as possible outside of the water, pointing in the right direction, parallel with the water, flying across the top of the ocean. Things looking pretty tidy now. Ooh, that's going to cost him a little bit of time there.
Ooh, and another bobble there. So we'll see if he can recover here as he brings it around as the 20 minutes has expired for Group 2 in qualifying time trials. And a bit messy there on that last turn. All right, flying high on the foils as he comes across the line.
Yeah, that's it. So I think that puts him second quickest in the session.
In that session, yep.
But as you can see on the live standings, when it comes to the top 10, is 7th quickest, which is okay for now.
Yep.
It's safe, you know. He's not eliminated, but he doesn't have a teammate to put a time in. So that's going to change things.
Got that report earlier that he will be doing double duty as the Ironman, as his female pilot unable to go this weekend because of injury. So Team Blue Rising down one pilot, as we have completed now 2 sessions of qualifying time trials, groups 1 and 2, and it is still Westbrook Racing on top. Sarah Price putting the mark to beat down, and everyone's still trying to track that down, find out how she got that magic done out on the Red Sea. Beautiful day here in Jeddah, gateway to Mecca, as we continue on with qualifying time trials. And there you see the standings, 104.15. So very close between the top 2. Team Brady, the defending 2-time champions, with Emma Kimmelainen. She had the mark to beat for a while, and then midway through that 20-minute session, it was Sarah Price that uncorked the 104.15.
Yeah, things looking very, very good for Westbrook there, and Brady, to be fair, only less than a second behind. Some good performance and good lap time extracted from that first session. Now, what was that down to, Todd? Was it pop choice? Was it just the perfect timing with clean water? Have the conditions changed?
Yeah.
I think we're going to need to go on to Taylor to find out the answers to these questions.
Taylor's going to do some research and find out exactly how. Not that Westbrook Race is going to share that data if they have it, but we will see how it all plays out. Busy day today on the first day of racing here at the E1 Jeddah GP. We'll have qualifying time trials, 2 more sessions of that of 20 minutes, and then we'll move on to Q1, which will be 2 laps. But remember, after the qualifying time trials, only the top 8 teams are moving on, split into 2 groups of 4. And they have to make sure their pilot choice has been made. Then it's Q2 with just 3 and 3. And again, 2 laps. And then we'll conclude the day's qualifying with qualifying pole shootout with 3 points, championship points on the line, 2 points for second and 1 point for third.
Just to add a bit of spice and jeopardy into the mix, Todd, I think they've had it very, I want to say very easy, because E1 is challenging, but the conditions so far have been quite favourable. It could change very quickly.
Hey, John, we got to ask you, the delay and everything else, how is it going out there on the waters? And you are doing Ironman duty today, my friend.
Well, you know, it's, I hope we have a dryer here on site, because my suit is so wet from all the sweat. And on top of that, I always put in pocket before I go out.
Hey, how was the course, JP? You waited till the very end to lay down that last lap. How did you feel out there, and how were the conditions? All right, we've lost John Peters. We appreciate his time, but yeah, looking for a dryer. But remember, during the delay, when they had to get the buoys back into place, he was the only one that stayed in the Racebird. Did not pop out, so yeah.
That's a very good point.
Maybe he's cutting weight for his next fight.
I'm not sure if I want a dryer. I think heat is the last thing I've got right now.
So after 2 sessions of qualifying time trials, it is still Westbrook Racing. Will Smith's squad out in front with Sarah Price, and she'll be handing off to her partner, Lucas Ordonez, coming up. 104.15 with Team Brady, the defending champions, right behind Emma Kimmelainen, doing a fantastic job, and Miami sitting in third. So that is 1, 2, and 3. Westbrook Racing, Brady, and Miami 1, 2, and 3, with last year's champion at this event, Aoki, currently sitting in 4th place. Much more racing still to come as we press on with more qualifying time trials. It's Group 3 coming up next. So the beautiful tranquil waters, this is the calm before the storm as the next group gets out, and they are in the milling phase as they will try to see who is going to flinch first. Saunders, who's going to blink first, who's going to pull the trigger first and set out on this. So it's 20 minutes, you get 3 laps. Your best time is what you will record.
Yeah, and it is, you know, it's a team game. E1 is all about what you and your teammate can do. It's that average of each team's pilots across the sessions that gets them either eliminated if they're in the bottom 2 or through to the next qualifying session. So yeah, a lot of jeopardy in this, not just about getting a fast lap, it's about keeping in the game for today.
On water view from Team Rafa. That does not look like a debrief. That looks like a where are we having dinner tonight conversation. And who's paying? So we'll get into race mode here. It'll be Brady, Aoki, Westbrook, Miami, and Sierra out on the water. Sam Coleman takes over for Brady. Sarah Masir will take over for Aoki. Lucas Adornias for the leading Westbrook squad. Trisha Pita and Rihanna O'Mara Hunt. Looks like all boats are coming in. That is not a good sign. No red flag has been put out just yet, but the race birds look like they're heading back to the launch zone, and we could be in for a protracted delay here because this usually is a sign of something is out of whack.
Yeah, hopefully not too much of a delay, but it'll be interesting to see whether they get out or not, because that was a bit of an indicator, wasn't it, previously? Yep. John Peters opted to stay in. He wanted to stay in the moment, in the zone. Hopefully they all stay in because it's a short delay, but we'll have to see.
Got the handy dandy leaf blower comes into play to cool off the cockpit of these all-electric race birds, and that's a smart piece of equipment right there. So there is a delay on course, so we will stand aside momentarily as we continue on. Halfway through qualifying time trials here in Jeddah at the E1 Jeddah GP 2026 opening round of 8. We'll be back in a moment.
hello. Si han llegado a hablar un momento, pero se ha cortado. Estar así encima con esta mierda en la mano. Hello, hello again.
On the radio, right here. Hold on, 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Parece como una retroalimentación. No muy bien, no sé qué audio es ese. Es como una retroalimentación. Hello, I cannot hear you really well because probably you have the microphone open there. Hello again from the Blue Rising radio boat, radio check. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, can you hear me? Hello. Team Blue Racing, radio check, can you hear me?
لي مساكم اهلا وسهلا في الجميع، حياكم الله على اجواء شاطئ كورنيش جده أبحر الجنوبيه. اليوم هو يوم عالمي، هو يوم مميز حيث تشهد جده اليوم انطلاق منافسات الجوله الافتتاحيه لبطوله العالم للقوارب الكهربائيه السريعه E1 والتي تستضيفها المملكه العربيه السعوديه والتي تستمر لمده يومين اليوم وغدا. اكيد ندعو الحضور وجميع الساده الكرام للاستمتاع بالاجواء وايضا الاستمتاع بالفعاليات الترفيهيه القائمه بهذه البطوله. اجواء جميله والتي تقام هذه البطوله برعايه VIF صندوق الاستثمارات السعوديه. طبعا تقام مرحله التصفيات المؤهله لسباق جائزه جده الكبرى لعام 2026 اليوم على ان يكون السباق الرئيسي غدا يوم السبت. الساده الكرام ندعوكم للاستمتاع بالفعاليات الشاطئه وايضا ندعوكم للتعرف على جميع الفعاليات المجانيه وايضا زياره بوكس سينما حيث هنالك بعض الافلام التي يتم عرضها الان. اجواء جميله، استمتعوا وكونوا على استعداد لمشاهده التصفيات والمنافسات المؤهله لبطوله يوم غدا. شكرا لكم واستمتعوا بالاجواء الجميله.
And welcome back to E1 Jeddah GP 2026 as we get you ready for the next round of qualifying here in the qualifying time trials. 2 groups have completed their runs, and we are now set for the 3rd group. This will be Group 1B. Before we do that, we want to take you back and show you some of the highlights from Group 2A as they were able to put down the times. In case you're wondering, the team and mark to beat is 104.159 on the dot, put up by Westbrook Racing's Sarah Price in that first session. And Saunders Carmichael Brown, the weather is cooperating. It looks smooth, slight breeze blowing, but not enough ripple on the water or much sea stick to speak of, so it should be some fast times.
Yeah, pretty friendly as it looks so far. Doesn't look too dramatic, so good chance to get good lap time. But that lap time that Sarah Price put in is going to be hard to beat, I think.
All right, the teams are now milling, getting ready for Group 2A. We'll get to that momentarily, or Group 1B, I should say. Let's go back and take a look at the highlights from the 2nd qualifying group. So that is how the action went down in qualifying Group number 2. As we now turn our attention to Group 1B. Remember, it's 20 minutes, 3 laps maximum for the teams. As you take a look at the squads and how they'll play down, we'll see Rihanna O'Meara Hunt for Sierra. Sam Coleman will be going for Team Brady. Patricia Pita for Miami. Aoki puts on Sarah Masir. And Westbrook throws down Lucas Ordonez. 5 teams out on the water, 20 minutes. And the time will start momentarily. So we've seen multiple strategy, Saunders, and it's either wait till the very end, which we saw in Group 2, and John Peters played it perfectly, almost, or get out there first and try to steal that start.
Yeah, it's all about that clean water, just trying to give yourself the best opportunity to sit on the foil, maximum speed, put a good lap in. I'm interested to see how Patricia does here. She's recently promoted from a reserve seat to the full-time seat for the season. So 5 seconds down, let's see who gets the first run.
And we are off and racing in time trials, and it is Aoki team out there. So Aoki Racing with Sarmasir trying to get that clean water. Remember last year at this event, Aoki Racing team won the first event, Jeddah.
Fairly smooth around that first mark. Let's see how she gets on around these next two. This kind of long winding section, a really good opportunity to keep up the pace that you got from the start-finish straight. Keep on the balance, keep up on the foil, keeping the brace bird as parallel to the water as possible this straight, using the little bit of boost there we saw Sarah do there on that back straight. Looking pretty balanced actually, pretty smooth, but it could all come a cropper right here as we saw in the previous session. Just not controlling the trim in the perfect way, going to turn completely unbalanced the race bird, and then that's where all your time is lost. That doesn't look too bad, a little bit of drag in the water there.
Friction is not your friend here as you're trying to get up high on those foils, but when you go high, Saunders, correct me if I'm wrong, the ride stability reduces.
Yeah, and also if the prop comes out of the water, you get that kind of that ghosting where the prop is cavitation, and that's not helping anyone.
So it's off the mark just a bit. And Lucas Ordonez now halfway through the course. We'll see what he can deliver. A little bit of chop on the far outside. When he was talking with Taylor Snyder, he seemed pretty excited about getting out there, and why not? His teammate, Sarah Price, has put down the fastest time thus far. Working the boost a bit, dropping down, throttle through the line. And it's a 108.01. So they're crunching the numbers, finding out where he lost, where he gained, where he can do better. Remember, he's got 17 minutes and 50 seconds still to do 2 more laps. You can't abandon one.
I think being 3 seconds off your teammate at this point, having just done one lap, it's not a bad place to be. There's still a lot of time that can be made up. You know, we saw one bad turn being the difference of 3, 4, even 5 seconds over the duration of the lap. So still lots that can be done. Ah, you can see there, that is correct on your own wake. Now imagine you've got a race bird in front of you in the race, kicking up all sorts of splash and wake of salty water into the windshield. That's some of the challenges they've got ahead of them.
Patricia Pita now. Quiet is good. As you hear a little bit of rattling out there as the hull making contact, creating friction, slowing down. Right now, a little bit of boost, full throttle.
We're just desperately looking at these times now, aren't we? We're trying to see how they match up. Yeah, okay, so there's a little bit off the pace there, but there's still a lot of lessons that can be learning. I'm wondering actually now, Todd, if that chop looks a little bit more.
So Patricia Pita bringing it through, looking for something quick here. And she's going to be off the pace, so she will look to runs 2 and 3 to see if she can improve upon that. So everyone except Sam Coleman and Rihanna O'Meara Hunt for Brady and Sierra respectively have completed 1 lap as we go back out on the course.
Rihanna now coming towards the end of that first lap. She's on the boost. Let's see what the time is, how competitive she can be on the first lap. 2 more to go, of course. There's still plenty of opportunity to put in the best time. If this isn't the one, a little bit of imbalance there, that last turn. That's not bad going, pretty good.
So you see the combined standings coming up now. You want to be in the top 8. Bottom 2 will be eliminated. 8 teams will move on to Q1, which will drop to just 2 laps. One more qualifying time trial session coming up. Trying to find smooth water and clear sailing and trying to get that boat to foil and find the fine balance between speed and stability.
We heard a little bit kind of a fly on the wall, Tom Chapp saying earlier for Team Rafa that it was actually trying to hit that top speed was quite hard. It wasn't the case if it wasn't there, it was just actually getting the time to use it, which naturally comes with the prop choice. You know, if you are favouring top speed over acceleration, you feel like you can keep the Racebird stable and balanced throughout the course of the lap, the whole course. That's where the difference is. So maybe Rafa kind of letting it slip a little bit there, what their prop choice was, and it maybe being top speed was their aspiration.
From virtual to actual, Team Brady, rating champs now. Sam Coleman as we go on board. Well, he looks locked in, doesn't he?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good performance from Brady over the 2 seasons that we've completed in E1 so far. It's a very accomplished team, you know, back-to-back champions. They're looking for the three-peat, as he called it, this season, but everyone's going to want to step up. There was a good battle towards the end of last season, and I think we're going to have another good battle this season too.
Team Brady, last 4 events of last season, 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 1st. So finishing on the podium 3 out of the 4 times, and 2 of those times on top of the podium led them to the title in 2025. Here we go on board now. Well, this looks fast.
Yeah, it looks quicker than anyone else so far in this session on both Sector 1 and Sector 2. This could be the perfect lap, and there it is. Still off Sarah though.
Yep. But on combined standings, Brady now will move into the lead with a 106.93. Westbrook in 2nd, Aoki in 3rd, and Sierra Racing Club currently sitting in 4th. Monaco and Drogba right now. We'll have to wait and see how their 4th qualifying session goes, but they are trying to avoid those bottom 2 spots. Aoki on a heater now with Sarah Masir. Stay in 3rd.
Not a lot between the top 3, is there, in time? You know, that's one mistake can be the difference there.
Mission Control talking to the drivers, talking with their pilots as we go on board with Westbrook. Once again, Lucas Ordonez out of Spain. We already mentioned that Sarah Price has put up the fastest time on the day, trying to get his team back in P1, currently sitting in 2nd. And here we go.
See there on the graphic, just managing that trim on the right hand side. You can see it going up just little 0.1, 0.2 decibels at a time, keeping that prop perfectly positioned in the water. That wasn't the smoothest corner, but hasn't done too well. Acceleration out of the corners kept him back on the foil. It's hard to, it must be even hard to see.
Yeah.
For Lucas.
Full throttle.
Okay, let's have a look at how the timings are matching up currently. He's a little bit slower in the 1st sector and the 2nd sector of Sam Coleman's time.
A little loose there. One more left-hander and he'll see the finish line. Boom.
Has he done enough in the 3rd sector to get the top spot? Could be close, he does it.
There you go. So Westbrook back into 1st place P1 with a combined time 106.93. Great job by Lucas Ordonez and Sarah Price. So from Westbrook Racing, we go back on board Team Miami.
Yeah, only way is up here, I think, when it, in relation to the first timing. Is 9 seconds off the pace at the moment, so probably just a few mistakes in that 1st lap as she takes on the 2nd lap.
Do you anticipate the lap speeds to get goes faster and faster throughout the day, or do you think it's all dependent on the conditions?
I think conditions play a big factor, but I think you can't underestimate the learnings, and I think also just the shared data between the two pilots when it comes to the trim and the setup inside the cockpit.
Patricia Pita will bring it around. Left-hand turn, swings across, and she comes through the line. So Miami now sits in 4th place with Sierra Racing in 5th. As your top 5, Westbrook, Brady, Aoki, Miami, and Sierra Racing Club 1 through 5. Rafa on the outside sitting in 6th. And we've got another boat ready with Rihanna O'Meara Hunt on course in relatively smooth water. Looks like she's going to abort this one. So 9:20 to go here in Group 1B. And we got another one. Another race bird on course now.
Sam Coleman going to see if he can improve an already very good time, but wants to get that top spot back off Westbrook. The difference being, at the moment, crazy to say, just 0.003 of a second.
Unbelievable.
Using the boost in the start. This straight here, maximum speed going into this turn. Looking quite smooth at the moment, a bit unsettled there. Could that little bumping there, not staying on the foil, cost him the time he needs?
Sam Coleman rights the ship. Here we go. One more left-hand turn. Does he put Team Brady back in the lead? And it seems like very loose on these last few turns. Brings it home, turns the wheel, crosses the line.
Good recovery in that final sector. Yep. Lost a little bit in the second sector, but certainly well recovered. But no improvement overall on the time. Still sits behind Team Westbrook.
So Westbrook still on top. Brady in 2nd, Aoki in 3rd. Team Miami sits in 4th, and Sierra Racing Club top 5. Sarah Masir now virtually bringing it around. Takes a little different angle as she crosses the line, not improving.
You know, I don't think I've seen a time difference that small in E1 before. 0.003 of a second is kind of crazy when you think about all of the things that can change a lap time, conditions, setup, everything. Usually we're used to seeing 1, 2, 3 seconds, you know, as you can see in the combined standings right now. But 0.003 of a second is impressive. That's exceptionally close.
Some tight racing. Rihanna O'Meara Hunt, Sierra Racing Club.
Yeah, did a little bit off the pace in that first sector. Let's see what she can do in the final 2 sectors, improve that time. I mean, it's, you know, it's first time out here. She's filling in for Katie Munnings, so taking on the reserve driver role for pilot role for this weekend. And it's a bit of a baptism of fire, because if you're not used to racing electric foils, which unless you do E1, you won't have any experience in that. And for Rihanna's case, you know, her experience is very much on tarmac, on 4 wheels, with GT4 racing and karting and that kind of thing. But New Zealand, which is where she obviously homes from, is known for exceptionally good sailors, as you know, Todd.
Yep.
So can she take that legacy onto the foil in E1?
So she will come across the line, and Sierra Racing Club does move up a position ahead of Miami. They go into 4th place, just behind Team Aoki. And a red flag has now come out once again, so that will bring racing to a conclusion for the time being with 5:10 to go in the qualifying time trial. Red flag out on the course here in Jeddah.
So it looks like they're all going to be sent to the milling area now as we understand what has caused this red flag. Hopefully nothing too drastic and stopping us from getting back onto the water. 5 minutes left, there's still quite a few laps. Only Sarah Miz has done all 3 of her laps. There's still 1 lap that could be put in from Sam Coleman for Brady, Lucas Ordonez for Westbrook, Rihanna O'Meara Hunt for Sierra, and Patricia Peter for Miami.
So hoping to wrap up this final qualifying group for 2B, and then we'll have one last 20-minute session. Teams will be ranked 1 through 10, and the bottom 2 teams will be eliminated.
So yeah, as you can see there, Sarah Mize for Aoki done their 3 laps, can't do any more, so that is the time they're going to stick with. So far, currently puts them 3rd in the standings, combined standings for time. So it's safe at the moment for elimination.
Danny Close looks on. Westbrook, Brady, Aoki, Sierra Racing, Miami top 5. Rafa sits in 6th. True Blue Rising in 7th. Team Alula in 8th. The new team Monaco in 9th, and Drogba in 10th. 5:10 remains on the clock officially, but a red flag has been brought out. Team sent to the milling area, and we'll hopefully sort this out quickly and get back to racing and wrap this session up. Still ahead, it's Q1 and Q2 before we get to the last racing of the day, which will be qualifying pole shootout, and points will be awarded there. 3 to the first place finishing team, 2 to the second, and 1 to third.
What's going to be interesting to see now, Todd, is that, I just said Tom because I looked at Brady, is Sam going to look to try and poach this start now, take full advantage of the clear water? I mean, it's going to be a bit of a race to see who can get this clean lap in.
They are pole primed and ready to go, and before that red flag is cleared and we can resume racing here with 5:10 officially still on the clock.
Movement as they circle around in the milling area, waiting for that green flag. I think we can see something here moving that smart mark. Gives a bit of an indication of what might be the cause of this red flag. That's a cool job, isn't it? Sitting on a jet ski all day in Jeddah on the water. I'm envious. I'm envious. Not that I don't like doing what I'm doing here, of course. I'm having a great time with you, Todd.
Well, they're going to get this mark either replaced or in position, and hopefully that will clear the red flag and we get back to racing.
Very impressed with the running so far for Westbrook. You know, they were kind of always seem to be there or thereabouts, but necessarily don't always have the stats and the numbers to back them up. You know, when I think about E1, I think about competitiveness and performance in racing. I'm like, yeah, Westbrook are up there. I think they came into E1 a little bit later in the first season and hit the ground running really, really well. But then you look at last season, and they didn't manage to get a win. I think the best position they finished was 3 4th places. And in my mind, it feels like they've done better than that. So the performance is there, but crucially, doesn't come when it matters. Maybe this is a season for that all to change.
You see 3 pilots there all teed up, ready to go, sitting on 2 laps with 1 lap remaining for all those teams that you see on the screen right now. Sierra has 2 more with Rihanna O'Meara Hunt. And this all has to take place in the next 5 minutes as the milling continues here in beautiful Ober Bay of Jeddah. Looks like the breeze is picking up just a little bit, causing a little more chop out on the water, but we'll see how that affects the racing. We've got 1 more 20-minute session to go, and then we'll be moving on to Q1 with 8 teams of the 10.
And a reminder that if those conditions change in any sort of severe way, or even just a little bit, to be honest, I mean, you can see there, look at the swell, whether that's coming from a passing boat or that just now is a build-up of swell. Brady Raceberg kind of rocking around there. The difference now is that if that condition does change, maybe the prop choice becomes less relevant. And where they thought smoother conditions could be higher top speed,
right,
go with the prop that allows that, and then suddenly it becomes more about getting back on the foil when the swell knocks you off of it. We could see this whole leaderboard completely flip around if the conditions change. So they have to try and predict that. So which team has the best satellite connection for the weather? That can go a long way. And the experience, of course.
You can't win the event on day number 1, but you can certainly put yourself in a hole. We'll be dropping 2 teams after the end of qualifying time trials with just 8 teams moving forward. And right now it looks like Westbrook is almost secured their spot as we continue under a red flag here. Teams are now getting into some motion.
They all know something. They're all edging towards the start line.
Yep.
There's a little race before the race here. Who's going to get there first?
So you're saying they might have more information than we do? Come on. Not a chance.
Oh, look at this. They're pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah.
It's just going to effectively be who gets the communication of a green flag first. I want to see the camera
drag race
in the Team HQ now. Who's ready with their finger on the button, ready to say green?
Here we
go.
There we
go. Brady's got the edge there. Sam Coleman.
Green flag, green flag.
This is bad now for Lucas because he's been caught up in all that wake and wash of Sam Coleman. It's effectively end of the lap for him. You know, to be able to get a good time, all that banging up and down. He's just got to sit out now, abort this lap, maybe get a clean run if you can get one in time. Meanwhile, if you're Sam Coleman, that has worked out perfectly for you.
Look how glassy smooth it is right now as he will try to go out there and put Team Brady back on top. Sam Coleman, Lucas Ordonez, and Lucas has said, yeah, I had enough of this whitewash water. I'm going to pull off to the side, abort this one, and go back to start again. As we take you on board with Team Brady and Sam Coleman from Great Britain, working his way through the course.
He's improved in the first sector so far, and the second sector. This is looking like it could be a good lap, maybe good enough to reclaim the top spot in the combined standings for Brady.
Working the boost and the throttle, full tilt. Here we go. Big left-hander coming out.
That's it, that gone. Oh dear. Oh, it still did it. That must have been right at the very end. You know what? Credit to Sam and Brady. That
what
is
a recovery.
The definition of full send, isn't it?
Full
right
send
into the first
indeed,
turn.
and he sends Team Brady into first place. So Sam Coleman, despite a slight bobble at the very end, able to put his squad on top of the combined 106.21. So Team Brady now takes over the lead from Westbrook with fastest combined time here in qualifying.
Just 7/10 in it though. Woo. That's not a big margin. That's not a big safety blanket there for Team Brady. I mean, Westbrook and Lucas Ordonez, good opportunity to take that spot back if they can get that last clean lap in. And let's remind ourselves there is only 1 lap left to do that for Lucas Ordonez.
So 3 minutes left on the clock. Sam Coleman's work is done, as is Sarah Masser. She is done as well. Lucas Ordonez still out on course. Rihanna O'Meara Hunt and Patricia Pita for Miami Racing. Wow, Talk about a little excitement at the end. Team Brady, watch this. Boom!
I mean, that must have been on just the final bit of the final sector. Because if that happens, you know, 10 meters earlier, then that's probably lap gone. Just full send into that final turn. Love it.
Almost knocked a filling out of his mouth. Well done to save that as he brings it across the line. And with that bobble, he's still able to put his team on top. So it's Team Brady on top, 106.218. Westbrook Racing, 106.931. Team Miami now on course.
It's very calm and collected, even though there is a finger on the boost button, using full advantage of that extra power on that back straight. No improvement so far on the time in that first sector. A little bit off in the second. Still chance to make up a little bit though in the third sector. Oh, you can hear the prop out of the water, can't you? All that cavitation.
Yeah. So wasted energy there, and unfortunately does not look like this is going to help the cause. We'll see as they come across the line, and just over 60 seconds remaining in this qualifying group's 20 minutes. And it remains the same. So Miami sits in 5th, top 5 position. They'll bring it back in, and that leaves just Lucas Ordonez and Rihanna O'Meara Hunt, Sierra and Westbrook Racing, respectively, out on the water.
We find ourselves in an interesting position now, and I think the answer has been given here with Sierra, who is going to get the best run. With only 30 seconds left, there's every chance they could kind of cause each other some trouble here, but Sierra's got the edge and Abel's got that first lap in, the final lap in rather, the first chance at that. Let's see how Rihanna gets on. Over half a second off the pace.
Look at this. Waiting to the final 7 seconds as he will cross the line. Lucas Ordonez and Westbrook Racing on course on the clock.
Ooh, that's not the smoothest corner, a bit bumpy there, but timing-wise, didn't lose too much. In fact, gained, got a purple sector.
Watching the final 2 teams out on the water.
Personal best for Rihanna O'Meara Hunt in the second sector. Now just rounding off the lap to see where she can get herself and help that situation in the combined standings. Is it going to be faster than Aoki's ahead of them? Not sure it is. Yeah, no improvement there in the time.
Okay, so Sierra will stay in 4th, Miami in 5th, and all we're waiting to come home is Westbrook Racing's Lucas Ordonez. Can he pull a rabbit out of the hat in the final sections of this course and put his team back in front as he approaches the finish line?
It's going to be tight.
Oh, he's done it! Lucas Ordonez absolutely goes 105.48 combined and moves ahead of the reigning world champs, Team Brady.
That's big. What a big start to the, not just the weekend, but the season. All that extra confidence you can gain from that. The first point of asking, going into the weekend, top of the combined standings. Kudos to Team Westbrook.
Copy, copy. Yeah, that was a good first sector, guys. Good first sector. I know what I was doing wrong, and yeah.
And we're able to go on board now, Sierra Racing Club and Rihanna O'Meara Hunt. Rihanna, if you can hear us, take us through your last run out there, one of the last boats remaining on course. How did it go for you? Apologies, unable to get in touch with Rihanna O'Meara Hunt for Sierra Racing. But we can tell you right now, with one group remaining, is Westbrook Racing, who has set the qualifying time, combined time 105.48 on average. So they are in first. Team Brady sits in second, 106.218. Aoki Racing Team sits in third, and Team Sierra Racing Club in fourth, with Miami currently in fifth. As we turn the page now to the fourth and final qualifying time trial group, it is all apparent that teams like Alula, Monaco, and Drogba have got to get up and going, Saunders.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good start for Westbrook, just thinking about the 11 races, or let's say GPs, that Westbrook have taken part in. They've only had one win so far, 3 podiums, but good opportunity to really improve the stats there and maybe get another win on their belt.
And we'll go out on the water, Westbrook Racing. Lucas Ordonez, if you can hear us, take us through that last race. That first sector looked brilliant, and you finished really strong.
Yeah, guys, it's a very, very tricky conditions, very tricky and technical course here in Jeddah. And to nail it is very, very difficult. Sarah did it in the first session. I was struggling a little bit with the wake in my first 2 laps, but then we found the clean water and we could make a decent lap. So happy for that, happy for Westbrook Racing.
Appreciate the time, Lucas. And we appreciate Lucas spending a little time with us, giving us a little bit of insight. It's interesting how we talked back to Mission Control. Saunders said, I know what I did wrong in Sector 1. Still, it was an improvement, so that's looking bright for the next go-around.
And it was about fine margins, wasn't it? Because there wasn't a lot of time between him and Sam Coleman from Brady. In fact, that first sector improvement that he talks about, we're talking less than 400ths of a second difference. So they are the margins that these guys are dealing with out there.
Teammate Sarah Price there to join him. So 2 of the fastest times put up by those 2 pilots. Getting their all-electric race birds around the course here in Jeddah in very fast time.
We do, of course, have one more session to go of these time trials, which is 2B, like the other half of the grid, to try and help towards these combined timings.
Well, there's not much of a storm in the area, but they certainly are the storm riders as they sit P1 right now in qualifying. As Saunders pointed out, one more group still to go. This will be interesting with Rafa,
Yeah, definitely. I think my
Team
first
Blue
lap was
Rising,
better, but I
Alula,
got this
Drogba, and
massive
Monaco
wake
out on the
on
water.
that big boat.
So let's take a look at the results. You saw Sarah Price dropping a 104.15 to lead the way. Lucas Ordonez gets it done for 1B, and there is the average. It's all about the average. 105.48, just ahead of the defending champions, Team Brady. Aoki currently sits in third with Sierra in fourth, and Miami in fifth place. So we teed up one more time here in qualifying time trials on day number 1 at E1 Jeddah GP 2026, and then it is on to Q1 minus 2 teams. We go from 10 down to 8. Let's sit it down and let's check in launch zone with Taylor one more time. She's standing by with Sam Coleman.
Sam Coleman, what a run that was. I just asked you what happened in that corner. You said, I don't know what you're talking about, but I think you know.
No, nothing to see here. We were just out for a cruise. No, I think the conditions are really tough. The track is changing from lap to lap with the wind swirling around, and there was some wash in the corner, and I tried to keep my foot in and put a few more tenths into Lucas, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out. So they did a great lap at the end to pip us. But in the conditions and going straight into the race course, I was quite happy with how it went.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
All right, Taylor, well done. And Sam, give us the insight there. I thought for a second that he was going to say, oh, there was nothing to see here, but we all went on board and saw exactly what he was talking about. But got it done, and a great bit of sportsmanship, giving credit to Lucas Ordonez, who had a great final start as we take a look at the starters for the final session. John Peters back for more for Blue Rising. Rafa puts out Chris Lazaraga, and then you have Michael Wilkinson back in behind the wheel for Drogba. Alula throws out Nerea Marti, and for Monaco, Oban Duncan. They will try to make sure they are in a top 8 position.
Drogba making the first move here. Let's see how they get on. Michael Wilkinson trying to make the most of this clean water. Interesting to hear about what they're talking about with conditions there, Todd. Sam Coleman mentioned, because I think what's quite common in this part of the world is that in the afternoon you get this kind of quite persistent north wind. The knots build up, you get more wake, you get more of a current to deal with, and it becomes a bit more challenging as Sam talked about.
Not much of a swell to speak of as we go on board Drogba, but there's certainly some conditions that Mother Nature providing as Michael Wilkinson trying to put in a fast time. Right now they are what we might want to call the relegation zone, currently sitting in 10th.
I think that's part of the characteristics of this course, isn't it? Is you don't get that long kind of rolling ocean swell that you might get. It's more of a short, kind of punchy chop, isn't it? Which is kind of up on the foil, really catch you and throw your balance.
Left-hand turn, and he should see the finish line. It comes in. Nice improvements on sectors 1, 2, and 3.
I think that's going to put them up probably to about 5th in the combined standings.
Jump.
Big jump.
So Drogba goes from 10th into 5th.
Yeah, pretty good going. Only just over 2/10 off in their first sector, that elusive first sector that Lucas was talking about. Who makes the second run? Looks like it's going to be Chris Lazaraga for Team Rafa. Currently down P7 in the combined timing, so safe from elimination as it stands, but there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that Rafa will want to improve this time.
8 teams moving on to Q1 coming up shortly. There'll be just 2 laps instead of 3. And once again, the bottom 2 teams will be eliminated going forward to Q2. Lazaraga now on board. See your data coming across full throttle. There you see the RPMs on the left, trim on the right, steering angle on the bottom. Team Rafa currently sitting in 7th, trying to move up. Combined time 107.22. And there you see the rollers. Ooh.
Chris a little bit off of Micah's pace so far in Sector 1 and Sector 2.
Does improve on Sector 3, but it's not going to be enough to give them improvement. Actually moving to 4th place. So it's Westbrook, Brady, Aoki, Rafa now, top 4.
And I guess we need to remind ourselves that one of those eliminated by default will be Team Blue Rising, because there's only one pilot. And John Peters taking part this weekend as a result of Martial's Alabaidan's injury. So yeah, that is a guaranteed elimination. But there is that other spot, the other place for elimination.
So you're saying if you're Team Alula, you're feeling pretty good about your chances? So you're saying there's a chance?
There's always a chance.
Let's see what Oban Duncan can do.
Yeah, quite a bit off the pace at the moment. But just short of 4.5 seconds.
Just can't seem to find that balance, and 4.8 seconds off the pace. So Monaco has actually moved out of the relegation zone. They are into 8th place. Gotta feel good about that. True Blue Rising 9th. Team Alula in 10th.
just sitting patiently, waiting for the best opportunity of clean water.
Rusty Wyatt looking on. His teammate, Rea Marti of Spain, in the cockpit, ready to go. This will be a big, big opportunity. All the teams out there right now currently sitting on one lap, except for Team Blue Rising and Alula. So this will be their first go. Team Monaco looking on very interested indeed. They sit in 8th overall. Oban Duncan. She is one of the few pilots that we've seen, Saunders, not going with glasses.
Yeah.
Everyone else is rocking some eye protection or maybe some polarization to see better, but she said, you know what? I got young eyes, I don't need any glasses. I don't need your stinking glasses.
It doesn't look overly kind of glary or sunny, does it? So maybe the rest are just doing it for style reasons.
This is true. This is true. Meanwhile, Team Alula sits and waits, ready to pounce.
Open feeding back to her team. Actually, we're hearing that she's saying it's quite a bumpy course, so maybe that chop, that short, sharp, punchy chop that you get in this part of the Red Sea.
Yeah, you can see the flags up there on the other boats in the area, and they are blown pretty firm, much more than we saw early at the start of the day.
So it's going to mean these guys have got their work cut out for them to try and improve on the time of their teammate has already put in. And we've actually seen now on the right-hand side, little graphic here, challenge level has gone up from 3 to 4, Todd. It's getting serious.
We're not messing around. We're not messing around here, people.
30 degrees there as well, you know, that's
balmy.
86 degrees Fahrenheit, of course, for yourself.
Appreciate that conversion.
It's very patient here. You know, there's quite a lot on the line. There is an elimination still to be had here.
And the clock keeps ticking down. We're at 13, 12, 11.
Currently no one on the course. There's some nice clean water ahead. I would be looking to take full opportunity of this if I was behind one of those race birds. But then again, Todd, that's maybe why I'm not.
This is why you're not in that chair and this chair. Getting some data. Take you back on board Monaco. Look at this. Probably not exactly what Team Alula wanted there.
Wasted time, you know, it was clear for ages, they had all the opportunity, and now effectively for Alula, they just have to abort this lap.
Yeah.
There's no way you can get a good time sitting in the wake of the boat in front.
So Oban Duncan jumps out and says, you know what, if no one's gonna go, I'll take the glass. And Monaco sitting in 8th place, would love to shave some time off that combined. Keep an eye on Oban.
Yeah, there we go, you can see Alula pulling off there.
So Alula still has not completed a lap. Remember, 3 laps, and she's got to get those done in 12 minutes. Meanwhile, Monaco getting a nice advantage on the glassy water.
Improves on her first sector time. Currently looking like to improve in the second sector. We'll see if that stays the same. Yeah, it's the quickest second sector of the session so far. This could be a really good opportunity to move themselves up the order. Currently sitting 8th in the combined standings. If she can keep up this pace and this balance, there's a really good chance of improvement here, and maybe safety.
Look at this. Look at this.
That's a great.
Oh my, Oban. She goes from 8th to 4th as Monaco now are players.
And let's not forget as well, this is a new team, you know, new setup for Oban. She's moved teams as well. It's so much to learn, so much to get up to speed with. And that is a really big improvement between just one lap as well, so that credit to them.
So smarter people than us down there crunching the numbers, finding out exactly what she did, how she did it. But what we can tell you is Oban Duncan has now put the new team Monaco into a top 4 position. P4, we've got another team launching, taking the opportunity now to get some clean water.
Alula haven't had the chance to do a single lap yet. Just the one chance they could have had to abort. They've got 3 they can do, and that timer is only going one way, Todd. You know, they've really got to start to get that lap in, and now with all the others trying to do their second and third laps, are they going to get as good of an opportunity for clean water as they had?
So now it is Team Drogba. Am I correct on that? Michael Wilkinson.
Yep, here he is. Quickest in the first sector. That's a very strong time so far. Can he keep up this pace going into the second sector? This is the competitiveness has really caught up, hasn't it? This second lap, these timings are getting a lot closer. Everyone's pushing a little bit harder. Love to see it.
And that's near perfection right there. Look at that right height.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal lap. Almost 2 seconds quicker, or 1.5, almost 2 seconds quicker in the first sector. Quickest in the second sector. He's flying round this course.
Drogba currently sitting in 7th place. Can he bump them up, possibly to a top 5 situation? We're about to find out. Wilkinson brings it across the line.
No improvement, is still P7.
Wow.
It just shows you what one sector can do. Everything was looking great in sector 1 and sector 2, but the lap came undone in sector 3. No improvement.
So still 9 minutes plus as Aeva Miller-Hagen looks on for Team Drogba. Seeing what her teammate can do, staying out on the water. We're still waiting for a lap time from Alula.
It looks like they're just trying to put their first of 3 laps in now. It's a personal quickest for Nuria Marti in the first sector.
And this is where you make your money, right here on this back stretch. Long stretch here, good right height. Full throttle, get a little boost mixed in there as well.
She's really chipping away at the time there. Look how perfectly balanced that is, just flying above the water. Now, I don't want to have the commentators curse, but often when I say that, they're going to the next corner in all sorts of trouble, and I've done it again, Todd.
Look up commentator curse. You'll see a picture of Saunders Carmichael Brown as she will bring it home here as he threw the announcer hex on Alula. I'm going to let LeBron James know exactly who that was speaking when that happened, and comes across there. So
it's an improvement.
It is an improvement. Alula now into 8th place.
It just shows you as well, you know, we saw it with Sam Coleman, that sometimes on screen it looks like they've lost a lot of time. It looks all balanced, there's water spraying everywhere, but that was actually, she got the quickest third sector there. So whatever work was undone, she did quick for redemption. Just not enough to move up the order any more than the one position they did.
And now the dance begins in the milling area. Who's going to pull the trigger next with 7:30 plus to go in the final group for qualifying time trials here on day number 1 from the E1 Jeddah GP 2026.
And of course now, we can now safely say that Miami is the other team that's eliminated, having both pilots already done their laps.
Yep.
That's what the little green marker means on the combined standings. Everyone else looks safe. So now it's just about improving time. Miami aren't on the water, they can't do anything about where they are eliminated. So now how much data, how much confidence can the teams get from their last lap?
So a tough go for Timmy Hansen and Patricia Pita. Their day is done. Team Blue Rising down a pilot. John Peters did what he could, but they are done as well. So Rafa sitting in 5th, maybe not content with 5th, possibly looking for a top 4 finish.
And going forward from now, there's still eliminations in the next sessions, but then they're racing for position.
Right. Q1 will kick off with the first group being positions 5, 6, 7, and 8. And group 2 will be positions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, 2 laps this time around, and the bottom 2 teams will be eliminated.
This is looking like quite a good lap from Chris Lazaraga. Personal quickest in the first sector, overall quickest in the second sector. Now just to bring it all home in the third sector, what can she do to move Rafa up the combined standings?
This is that crazy Coleman corner right here. Does a nice job keeping it smooth, and what a finish. Rafa was in 5th. Say hello to 3rd.
That's good work. Good work from Chris Lazaraga.
Alula still sitting on one qualifying run in this group. Drogba on 2, Rafa on 2, Monaco on 2.
They don't look overly as happy as I
No.
would be in that position, but maybe they wanted more from that. But they're safe, they're through, and they improved their time. That's tick, tick, tick for me.
Feeling good right there.
I am
Ian
conscious as
Marti.
well, Todd, that they can hear us over the Ocean Club speakers as well. So I'm not going to say anything too mean.
When the hex comes down, we'll just make sure they know who made it. Here we go. Team Alula looking on very closely.
Full boost round the last bit of that corner into this straight. You can see that trim moving up, fair little bit, 0.3, 0.4 at a time. That's the setup they've gone for, just trying to keep that Racebird nicely balanced above the water, parallel with the water. Just trying to improve that time now. Personal quickest in Sector 1 and Sector 2.
And Marti will bring it home. How about that?
That's pretty great work.
From 8 to 6.
Really strong finish to the lap there. A purple sector in that final sector.
Getting reports from Chris Lazaraga, a lot of vibration for Team Rafa on the wheel. So people have talked about the swell and the ripples out there on the Red Sea causing that vibration. And meanwhile, Rusty Wyatt staying cool. Kind of hogging the air conditioning, I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah.
Stand right behind him and catch some of that residual wind.
Just Marco getting up close and personal with his #1 fan.
All right, here we go. Team Drogba. Give it plenty of boost, Micah. Flat on that first sector, right?
Yeah, no improvement on the first sector, but we have seen some strong second and third sectors make a lot of difference, and it looks like he supported it. Timing's gone.
Not feeling the love there. Still 2:40 to go, so hopefully thinking there might be some flatter, smoother water out there. 2.5 minutes remaining in qualifying time trials, and it is now time to say hello to Oban Duncan and Team Monaco, currently sitting in 5th place, safe for now. 3.28 seconds off the pace put up by the leaders, Westbrook Racing, who sit P1.
Oban's timed that quite well to get some clean water there and try and get a clean lap in. Follow along from the drone view as Oban Duncan takes on this course. So far, it's a personal quickest in the first sector. Coming towards the end of the second sector, briefly looking good. Teammate watching on. Reserve driver Christina GZ watching on. That's purple sector, quickest in the second sector. Things improving a little bit. What's the last few turns going to do for this time?
Oh, see a little bit of ripple on the water, a little rip. She's going to handle it. She's going to handle it.
Currently combined standing P5.
Hey.
And that's how it's going to stay.
So Monaco's got to feel pretty good about the improvements they made. Currently sitting in 5th place. They were mired towards the bottom, and they get it done, bring it home safely. Meanwhile, out on course, Chris Lazaraga Team Rafa working on a heater right now. They currently sit in 3rd overall. Could they possibly catch Team Brady?
Just another reminder, this is combined standings. You're seeing on the left there, you know, Oban Duncan's lap actually was the quickest of the session, just there on the water currently, but it's all about the average of the 2 pilots across both sessions, or all sessions.
Ooh, nice pace. Lazaraga now. Slap it down, not an improvement there. So we are down to the final 7 seconds. Everyone trying to get one more in, and it looks like Drogba will be the final say out on the water.
With the reports we've been having back about the conditions, Todd, it's interesting because you look at the Westbrook combined time, you know, 1:05.48. Right. The quickest time in this session is a 1:08. 1:06, 1:08. So I think the times have got a lot slower, and the conditions probably being the #1 reason for that. So is it going to be? It's going to be quite difficult now for this order to change too much, considering the people ahead, you know, and the lap they put in when the conditions were more favourable. But a fastest success so far from Michael Wilkinson. Looking very good here. Yeah, a little bit slower in the second, and it looks like another aborted lap. That's gone all slow there, potentially. Might have called that a bit early, actually. Maybe that was just a real slowing. I think that was just maybe a little graphic issue for a second there.
Here you
see
go.
what we can do in the 3rd sector. Ooh, yes,
nice improvement. So Drogba goes from 8th up to 6th. Bumping Sierra Racing Club down to 8th. So nice improvement there. As Michael Wilkinson able to bring it home, as qualifying time trials have come to a conclusion. All 4 groups, 20 minutes apiece, and now we have the top 8 that'll be moving on to Q1.
Always nice to see. Team congratulations there for Oban's lap. But it was Michael Wilkinson that had the quickest lap of that session.
And when they'll go down on the water, and Team Drogba. Mike, if you can hear us, give us an idea of what it was like. You got the group started off, and then you stayed out there to the very end. How you feeling about your position? Yeah, apologies, Mike. You can't hear us? That's a thumbs down. So he will bring it home back to the launch zone. Got to feel pretty good about that, though, as Team Drogba buried down at the bottom for most of the day, and they finish things off with a 6th overall, so they are safely into Q1. 2 more laps ahead as they will extricate him from that beautiful race bird. He's got to be pretty happy about where they finish off.
Yeah, lots of confidence that can be taken from putting in a lap like that, especially if the conditions are getting more tricky, as the pilots have been reporting back to us. But, you know, going into, there's a lot more sessions to go, both today and tomorrow. So having that confidence in the setup and the relationship with the team, I think it just pays dividends.
Also, Chris Lazaraga getting out of her race bird, as Team Rafa sitting currently on P3 with a combined time. It's like a 1:08.177, excuse me. So all teams are home and safe as we take a look at the time results, and it is this. It is Westbrook that does hold on to get at 1:05.48. Brady 2nd, Rafa 3rd, Aoki 4th, top 4 there. Monaco with a great run at the end, finishing in 5th. Drogba goes 6th, 7th for Alula, and rounding out the top 8, it is Sierra Racing Club with Rihanna O'Meara Hunt and Eric Stark getting it done. And that means that Miami and Blue Rising have been eliminated. They will not be moving on to Q1, where there's 2 more laps set to go.